highs again around 40. For Real Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic's Wednesday.
Happy Hump Day, Crudy.
Buddy, I guess we got to do a radio show.
Well, you know, sometimes we just get so busy in the business of doing radio and think, maybe we'll just take a day off and run a best of. But then you realize that nothing else on the radio compares to this fine product that we do every day, Crudy. At least Mondays through Fridays. So what the hell? Let's give it to the people.
Well, when you are the greatest radio show ever, Dom, you almost owe it to the people. Here's my question, Dom.
What's that, Michael?
What does Scott Walker owe to the people? What does he owe to the public at this point? Obviously, he's been crushed in defeat by Tony Evers. That's got to sting. But Scott Walker, not seen in public, Dom. Not since, over a week now? Not since Election Day.
Hashtag, where's Walker?
Where's the Wankinator? Well, Dom, we've got some breaking news. Mark Samahosa at the Madison.com. I'll skip the headline. Republican Governor Scott Walker says he stayed quiet since the election loss to Democrat Tony Evers because it's the decent thing to do.
Yeah, there's a picture of decency right there, Governor Walker.
I didn't know he knew what the word meant, Dom. During Evers' transition into the governor's office, and here's a quote, apparently from a Facebook post. At some point in the future, I will talk to the press, but not the devil's advocates. But it is only decent, to let Governor-elect Evers have a week without me filling the airwaves. Well, we've all kind of appreciated that, right, Tom? Walker posted on Facebook Wednesday, aside from a few non-political posts on social media, Walker has stayed quiet, and I like him that way, since he was narrowly defeated. I prefer to think of, his loss as a crushing, but of course, mathematically, it wasn't. It only crushed his soul and ambition. As he was narrowly defeated, as the article reads, down by Evers in Tuesday's election. Walker, 51, on the tail end of life, has not signaled what is next for him after leaving office in January. And when I say the tail end of life, I'm not being ageist here. I just mean it's all downhill from here, right?
I mean, as a 51-year-old unemployed man, that's got to be tough. No discernible skills, being a bagman and signing, pre-written legislation doesn't really qualify you to do much.
And, buddy, I don't think he's dynamic enough to do the radio gig or television. Certainly not handsome enough for television.
Well, I mean, listen, if Scott Walker wanted to do radio, it better be scripted, because that man is not good on his feet. I just look back at the debate that he had with Governor-elect Tony Evers, the other guy. Well, Tony wasn't great at getting that message out, sputtering just a tad, warming up as the night goes on. Governor Walker's so very smooth in his delivery, but then you realize he's been saying these lies for years. I mean, how could he possibly get up in front of a mic and just wing it? I don't know if he has it in him.
Dominic, we do it for 3 hours every day. I bet they could find a home for him at Whitey Righty Talk Radio. Don't be shocked if he turns up on ISN or TMJ or WIBA.
But so what is the point of a governor then? So he's staying in the background? I mean, there are no issues. There's nothing to discuss. Foxconn, hey, that's a done deal. It's a great deal. No, it's not a great deal. I mean, we haven't heard from Scott Walker since Market Watch and other financial magazines have analyzed the Foxconn deal and told everyone, Wisconsin, get the hell out of it. Governor Walker, what do you say about that? How about some social issues here? The Baraboo Nazis. You got any comment about that, Walker? I mean, that's right up the street from Madison, man. Where's the leadership?
Buddy, I thought you were going on an audible there.
I'm sorry,
Giving
man.
me a Omaha or maybe a Halle Berry. Did you see the Rams quarterback use the Halle Berry the other night?
I missed it, but I got the other one.
She tweeted back, "What's a Halle Berry?"
It's a Hail Mary?
Anyways, back to
It's a good-looking play. That's what that is, a good-looking play.
Back to the gubernator. I mean, I realize I'd rather reminisce about thoughts of seeing Halle Berry. But we got to talk about Scott Walker, Dom. And we must reminisce because I've not seen Scott Walker in public in at least a week. In the new Facebook post, Walker wrote that he has spoken with Evers. That was the concession, right? You win, I lose by. That's about how long that little conversation went. He has spoken with Evers and his own staff during the week since the election. He wrote that he also attended a memorial service in Milwaukee for community leader Jack McCathan, attended the Green Bay Packer game at Lambeau Field. Whose tickets did he use? He doesn't have season tickets. And helped his mother move into a new apartment, Dom.
Decency.
He's such a decent man, that Scotty Wanker. He's always been so decent to the people of Wisconsin, especially those of us in the minority.
The media wants to know why I haven't spoke with them in a week. The answer is simple. The decent thing to do is let Governor-elect Tony Evers have his time to talk about his transition. Crudy, I reiterate, there's many issues going on in this state, and if Governor Walker, and hell, Governor Evers for that matter, if he can just disappear for a week, why do you need it for the job? Maybe it should be a part-time job.
Being the governor of the state of Wisconsin?
Yes.
A part-time job, you say?
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, don't give the Republican legislative leaders any bright ideas. They'll be cutting money out of Tony Evers' paycheck, and they'll make it a 5-hour-a-week job. Maybe a 15-minute-a-day job, like when Scott Walker was running for president.
On the Facebook page of Scott Walker, not the governor, the Scott Walker Facebook page, 640 comments, almost 400 shares, lots of interest. I like this reply from Jeff. Does that mean your next book is hashtag hiding and pouting?
Dominic, another big show for the people, and we always appreciate when they become part of the tapestry that is the greatest radio show ever. And you do so by calling in or perhaps texting at 844-967-2789. I can't believe it's been a week and a day since the wake-up, Dom. And one guy didn't get the wake-up call. One guy still a little sleepy, still hibernating, apparently. An early winter start for the gubernator. But how do we know he even wrote this Facebook post?
Right.
It could be Tonette.
I mean, do we know, is Scott Walker really, I mean, is he still here, or did he leave, did he run himself out of town? Is he gone? I mean, I guess he was at the Packer game.
Where else would he go? He's got nowhere else to go.
I don't know. The Koch brothers, aren't they? Koch brothers are in
ago.
Kansas, right? Isn't that where the Koch brothers have their headquarters?
What, is he going to stay out in the pool house? Him and Tonette?
The pool boy?
I mean, he's already got to get mom settled in an apartment. And I realize his dad passed away, but didn't his parents live with him effectively in the governor's mansion? Weren't Mama and Papa Walker also living under the taxpayer's roof? I mean, he had the whole family on the government teat. Until Matt and Alex got jobs working for Vukmer's campaign.
How's that working out, fellas?
And that guy down in North Carolina, which was almost as grand a job appointment as Vukmer's campaign. The former governor of the state of North Carolina, I think one of the boys worked for. But Dom, he had the whole family living in the residence. Sold the place in Wauwatosa, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, think about this. Just from you and I have both gone to qualify for mortgage loans. He's got no job. As of today. I mean, he's got 2 more paychecks, right? He's got, December? And maybe a short one in January. Maybe they give him the whole month. I don't know how that works
we don't know.
In politics. I bet he doesn't know how that works in politics because he's been sucking off the governmental teat since 1993. But, Dom, he's got, 2 more paychecks. I can't imagine there's no severance built in, right? It's not like
no side.
Being a congressman or a senator, you don't get a gig for life. You don't get a paycheck for life being the former governor, do you?
Oh, that's a great question, Crudy.
Like a stipend?
I don't believe so, but I don't know. I mean, at 8 years, I mean, I'm not clear. That's a good question, Crudy. I don't know. I'm inclined to think not. But unless Governor Walker was moonlighting on the side and has some, other money coming in, some other expertise, some product or service that he was providing for a profit, or perhaps Tonette was out in the workforce, were they living off of Ma's Social Security? Where's the income coming from?
Hey, how about a little something, for the effort?
You know what I'm saying?
Galunga.
I tell you though. I mean, if I were Scott Walker, and I don't know what kind of deals he's got going on. Obviously, with the amount of money that went through his campaign and the context that he has, presumably he's going to land on his feet with a nice, cushy job somewhere. But that's not guaranteed.
Why do you make that presumption?
Because you got the context, you got the Rolodex. I mean, if nothing else, you have the context to make the calls and beg. But what's he going to do? Go on to monster.com and start, filling out a resume, an application? I don't know, man. I'd be a little concerned if I were Walker.
Well, he might get a no-show job working somewhere for some Republican buddy, but what he brings to the table precisely, I mean, as a mortgage lender, no thank you. I wouldn't be able to get the guy qualified, right? And I surely hope the man's not looking for rental property in the greater Dane County area. Doesn't call our friends at CCL Management. I would discourage that action, Governor Walker, because you might get declined. We are the devil's advocates. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. We are the devil's advocates. Your participation welcome and encouraged here. Call me, Scott Walker. Tell me it's okay. Tell me you're doing okay. Just a little. You can take a few digs at Tony Walker, Tony Evers if you want. 844-967-2789.
If you want, we can leave the press, or we can have the press leave immediately. I'll leave that up to Scott Walker.
They can go suck lemons. The guy was very, very angry and tired, and he wants to go home.
I got nowhere else to go!
I'm Andy Buck, Field Representative with Painters and Allied Trades of Wisconsin. It's an issue that brings constant challenges for building contractors. How to find qualified painters, glazers, and drywall finishers. IUPAT knows what you want. A professional job performed by skilled workers who care about safety, training, and finishing strong. Workers who are reliable and ready on demand. Let IUPAT provide the people power that you need. You'll feel confident the job is finished right. Connect at IUPATDC7.com and finish strong.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
When you shop Goodwill, you don't just bring home a vintage dress or cat lamp. You bring home so much good to your community, because everything you buy funds local job training and more. Goodwill, bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Knowing your breasts can save your life. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Komen and the Ad Council.
Live via phone, he is former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel.
Firing Bob Mueller doesn't mean that the prosecution, the investigation goes away. Pardoning one individual does not mean that you undo everything that has been done before. So this notion that somehow by shutting down and by pardoning and by sort of stopping the process, you're also stopping the wheels of justice is simply, again, it's simply wrong.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Real Resistance Radio, streaming on the Devil's Advocates Facebook and YouTube pages. We are on Twitter at Devil Radio, and you can always join us on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Dom, whether or not Scott Walker will come out in the public, he has left a boondoggle in his wake, a Foxconn. Of course, we talk about it often. Perhaps we'll contrast that with the deal they made on the Amazon HQ. Other states complaining, or at least taxpayers thereof, because of the incentives, and they pale in comparison to the giveaway that Scott Walker is given to the Foxconn Corporation. And let's not forget more governmental, more governance malfeasance, perhaps in Scott Walker's future, a little Foxconn 2.0 on his way out the door, Dom. Kimberly Clark. Now, should we take callers first? Were you telling me we got
yeah, we got Paul, but Paul can hang on a second. Let's throw this one out there, Curdy. Why don't you start it out?
Mark Summerhauser reports Foxconn stale subsidy for Kimberly Clark up for hearing before legislative panel. This, I believe, Pizza Box Mike was talking about on this fine show yesterday. The path forward remains murky for a bill to give a Foxconn-style subsidy to paper giant Kimberly Clark to retain as many. We're not even worried about trying to create jobs anymore.
No.
Now we give monstrous incentives just for corporations to retain as many as 500 jobs in the Fox Valley, an issue set for a hearing before state lawmakers Wednesday. The proposal would give the company state tax credits for 17% of certain payroll costs and 50% of capital investment in exchange for retaining jobs at the facility in Fox Crossing that makes adult incontinence products. You know what I'm talking about, Fancy Brian. The 17% figure matches what was given to Taiwanese electronics giant Foxconn to build a $10 billion or $9 or maybe never get around to building all of it manufacturing and research campus near Racine. The bill is set for a hearing in the legislature's Budget Writing Joint Finance Committee Wednesday morning. We'll give you an update if we can, Dom. But here's my question. Foxconn 2.0, 17% incentive. Prior incentives, when it was the Commerce, when it was Mary Burke and Jim Doyle, those dastardly times. You know what the greatest incentive the state of Wisconsin, I believe, historically had ever given?
What?
It's like 7.5%. More equitable with the personal income rates that non-manufacturing interests pay here in the state of Wisconsin, Dom. As I keep pointing out, if you incentivize a manufacturing corporation like Foxconn, like this paper company, Kimberly Clark, that doesn't have the corporate owners, the corporate masters, do not pay state income tax, or, 0.4%, effectively no state income taxes. So if you give an incentive that is 2.5 times the street, that's way more than they give the Amazon, way more. And Amazon, seemingly, is an American corporation. At least, you might recoup some of those taxes here in America. Well, as a manufacturing interest, again, they pay no taxes, not the 7.5%, 7.625% that the average Wisconsinite would pay on their highest marginal taxes. But if you give a 17% incentive, and the only way to recapture the investment is taxation on the wage of the employee, and the maximum taxation rate is 7.5%, you've given us 17 cents on the dollar incentive. I asked the question for the umpteenth time, Dom, how do you ever make good on that investment? In fact, you're burning $2 for every one you spend. It's horrible math.
Well, Crudy, presumably they just take it as a loss and hope that it trickles down to other investment, perhaps the 230 Wisconsin suppliers who do business with Kimberly-Clark every year. Crudy, a few more points here from Summerhauser's piece. The KC package could cost taxpayers between $100 million and $117 million over 15 years. The state could seek repayment of credits if employment at the facility falls below a level established in the contract, Crudy. So some clawback, maybe?
They got a napkin somewhere, Dom?
You know they do. Let's take Paul, 844-967-2789. You are the fancy guests of the Devil's Advocates today. Paul, we're going to start with you. Thanks for calling, Paul. Happy Hump Day. What do you got?
Thanks for taking my call. I'm all wore out from celebrating, and boy, I forgot how much these roads suck.
Yeah, well, I hope you weren't on them after drinking all those beers, Paul.
I waited till they got better here, but I got a job for Scotto. Get him an orange truck full of blacktop and a shovel.
Yes.
And he can fill a Scotto. That'll take a lifetime. That'll take him up till Social Security. Hey guys, thanks for taking my call, and thanks for what you do.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. We do appreciate it. Paul sounds a little hungover, man. Some too many spotted cows, I think. Listen, if Scott Walker fills Scott holes with hot tar, anything like he fills sandbags during floods, nobody's gonna hire him. He's slow. He misses the fill. No, he doesn't have any calluses on his hands. He's soft. That's not a job for Scott Walker.
You worked on a farm once upon a time, right, Tom?
You know I did. I used to get up at 5 o'clock every single morning, Monday through Sunday, man. Go milk the cows. Rain, snow, sleet, shine. Didn't matter. Those cows got to get milked, man. Hardest I ever worked in my life. Swore I'd never do it again.
So what you're telling me is you, like Scott Walker, haven't done an honest day's work since 1993. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates right here on Real Resistance Radio. Your calls always welcome. 844-967-2789. Let's talk a little Amazon. I know you're buying my gift for the holidays, right, Doug?
I'm on it right now, Curtis. As soon as we're going to break, all I can do is press click.
With Prime, my delivery will come before the holidays. More Devil's Advocates on the other side.
We're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a load of money.
So I got that going for me. Which is nice.
5 your local single-source IT solutions provider. Specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy 59s.com.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. That means it could be you, your best man, your worst man. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org to know where you stand. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Here's how you get them. If someone invites you for a cocktail, you bring them beer. If someone invites you to dinner, you bring a casserole. That's how you make friends. That's the Wisconsin way.
Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison, resisting dirty carpets and harsh chemicals. Brad, why should people use Zero Res Madison?
Why wouldn't you clean your carpets like this? We're not using any soaps. We're not using any chemicals. We cost about the same as the other guys. You look at it and you go, where's the downside? You got a completely green clean. That's awesome. We guarantee it. There's no downside.
There's no downside. Use Zero Res. Call Zero Res today. 608-848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
The Forum, hosted by Sherwin Hughes, exclusively on Real Resistance Radio. Call in live at 844-967-2789 and give your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on local and national topics. Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon. It will not be what you expect to hear, but we will definitely give you what you need to know. That's The Forum, hosted by Sherwin Hughes on Real Resistance Radio. Always streaming live on realresistanceradio.com.
For Real Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly. Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputy has been cleared in a fatal shooting at the lakefront last year. Deputy Michael Truex fired 8 shots into a vehicle driven by 19-year-old Terry Williams, killing him and wounding a passenger. Williams had fled from a traffic stop minutes earlier at Bradford Beach. His family has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the county, which is still pending. A new report from the nonpartisan Wisconsin Policy Forum says declining numbers of deer hunters in the state is threatening funding for several conservation programs. Pabst Brewing Company is accusing Miller Coors of being greedy in their dispute over a contract to brew beer, now being fought in a Milwaukee County courtroom. Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-20s. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs around 40. And Friday, mostly sunny, highs again around 40. You're listening to Real Resistance Radio.
Grass-fed, locally raised, 100% organic. Dom and Croots are the devil's advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Amazon, Empire State Bound, Dom. They're going to Queens, apparently. We have an announcement from the local Fox 5, New York City. New York State is kicking in more than $1.5 billion in taxpayer-funded incentives for getting half of Amazon's second headquarters located in a section of Queens. The Seattle-based company made its long-awaited announcement Tuesday, saying Long Island City and Alexandria, Virginia, will each get 25,000 jobs, Dom. The online retailer also said it will open an operations hub in Nashville, creating 5,000 jobs. Amazon will also receive as yet unspecified incentives from New York City. But let's talk about the state incentives, Dom. Let's maybe compare and contrast them with the Foxconn incentives given away by Scotty Wanker. New York State's incentives are nearly triple those of Virginia's, while Tennessee's are $102 million. Well, hell, we'll kill $100 million. That'll maybe retain you 500 jobs for Kimberly Clark, right?
Right.
According to Amazon, the cost per job for New York taxpayers, and this is a big number, Dom, $48,000 per job, compared to the $22,000 per job for Virginia and the $13,000 per job incentivized by the state of Tennessee. And what's Foxconn, Dom? And the Kimberly Clark, the Foxconn 2.0? $220,000 to $1 million plus per employee. So compare and contrast that. Queens is spending $1.5 billion, New York State, to bring Amazon, half the headquarters, to New York. They're spending $1.5 billion, so about a third of the financial commitment that the state of Wisconsin's given to Foxconn. They're getting 25,000 jobs, and they're paying the outrageous sum of $48,000 per job. I mean, that's more than twice what Virginia's paying. So the state of Wisconsin is paying at least 10 times as much per job as the state of Virginia is to bring 25,000 jobs to the state of Virginia from Amazon. Also a big corporation, I hear.
Yeah, but how much fresh water, does Amazon get to steal from any of those locations?
I'm not at all clear.
That's right. That's the gravy. Crudy, I just want to reiterate a couple of paragraphs, if I may. I mention it often. The Market Watch. No matter what job and incentive numbers you believe, this deal shocks the senses. At the low end, the Wisconsin Budget Project, a budget think tank, estimated the cost per job is just under $220,000. At the high end, it's $587,000 per job. These are for jobs that will pay on average a little more than $53,000 per year. To be clear, this means Wisconsin taxpayers are paying between a third and all the wage bill for Foxconn for more than a decade. And if I may just indulge me a moment, Crudy, still the final indignity to Wisconsin taxpayer comes from the state legislature's own fiscal analysis of the deal. This analysis concluded that the state would not break even on tax incentives for more than 25 years. Dismal as that is, the estimate relies on the most optimistic suite of conditions, including the astonishingly hopeful assumption that all of the 13,000 workers would reside in Wisconsin. They won't. The state line with Illinois is less than 20 miles away. And the consulting firm Baker Tilly estimates as many as half of the original 3,000 workers will live in Illinois. The legislature study also conveniently failed to take into account the appropriate time value of money, which means they overestimated the future value of this investment. Neither of these are casual errors, Crudy. Adjust for more pessimistic assumptions, and the break-even date for taxpayers in the state of Wisconsin on a $3 billion Foxconn deal moves out several hundred years. It's obviously worse if the subsidy is $4.8 billion, Crudy. I mean, this is a disaster for the state of Wisconsin, and New York is freaking out at $48,000 per job. The newly elected New York rep, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, says this: Amazon is a billion-dollar company. The idea that it will receive hundreds of millions of dollars in tax breaks at a time when our subway is crumbling, our communities need more investment, not less, is extremely concerning to residents here. Man, come to Wisconsin, they'd everybody be freaking out over here, but apparently, according to Robin Voss and the Republicans, hell, it's all good here.
Hey, don't you be putting your hands on that Foxconn deal, Tony Evers. In a statement released by Amazon, Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, called the agreement to bring half the headquarters to Queens one of the largest, most competitive economic development investments in U.S. history, but it pales in comparison to the New York State deal. How is it the state of Wisconsin has tripled the resources that New York State had to allocate to land 25,000 jobs in New York, and we only, get 13,000 at the high end?
At the high end.
And probably more like 6,500 Wisconsin jobs, because the rest are going to be flatlanders. Dom, one more quote. New York City Council Speaker Corey Johnson issued a statement saying, Amazon is one of the richest companies in the world. I also don't understand why a company as rich as Amazon would need nearly $2 billion in public money for its expansion plans at a time when New York desperately needs money for affordable housing, transportation, infrastructure, and, education. Well, good thing Wisconsin doesn't have any infrastructure needs. Good thing we haven't, depleted the resources educationally here in the state of Wisconsin.
No, it's all fixed. It's all good.
Good thing the cupboards are not bare here. Good thing Tony Evers doesn't inherit effectively, a $2 billion budget shortfall?
Plus, yes. Yeah, but the rainy day fund.
It's like 800,000 times bigger than it was on the last day of the recession. You remember Jim Doyle's recession? So I would like to hear Speaker Voss. I know you've made this avocation similarly, Dom. Speaker Voss, please come on this fine show. Explain the math. Explain how the state of Wisconsin giving triple the incentive that New York used to land Amazon, triple the incentive for 10,000, hell, maybe half the jobs. And at minimum, 4 times the per job incentive, perhaps 10 times the per job incentive, because Wisconsin has already offered 10 times the per job incentive that Alexandria, Virginia used to land the other 25,000 jobs. They're at 22,000 a job. We're at 220,000 per job minimum.
Minimum. What? Apparently, those governors and states, they were not desperate.
Well, Dom, I wonder what the kicker is. Did Amazon get to roll back the environmental laws of New York and Virginia? Or did we only sweeten the deal for Foxconn like that? I mean, why would we do that? Why would we set aside the pollution standards of the state of Wisconsin? Why would we beg the EPA to look aside on the pollution being caused? Why would we allow them to, throw crap in the creek beds, let it flow down to Illinois? I mean, all of those concessions were made on top of paying triple the incentive and 10 times at minimum, perhaps as much as 20 times the incentive that Virginia paid per job to land 25,000 jobs compared to 13,000. I know I'm being redundant now, Dom, but I think it bears repeating.
I absolutely agree with you. It does. I mean, it's hard to fathom. It really is. You hear about these other states and their negotiations, and everyone's got needs. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's got. You can always do something else with the money, but this Foxconn deal is just so over the top. If any of those other politicians, I love them. I mean, they're critical at $22,000 or $48,000 per job. If they looked at this deal here, they'd crap their pants, man. Nobody would take their own money and invest in this Foxconn deal in the state of Wisconsin. Not Robin Voss. Hell, not Bezos. Nobody would invest to make this deal happen in Wisconsin. It was only a desperate governor with a desperate assembly and Senate trying to get to their, 250,000 jobs promised that they never did in 8 years. We'd have been better off doing nothing, having a hamster as governor. We at least would have been statistically tied with our neighbors, perhaps. And this is what we get. Thank you, Republicans in the state of Wisconsin.
And you want to hear the saddest part of this sad
But
tale?
wait, there's more.
The saddest part. Scott Walker didn't even win the election.
I know.
He blasted the state of Wisconsin into future generations, perhaps hundreds of years. I mean, this is a millennial investment for the state of Wisconsin? We might, for those of us that survive the coming global climate change, the warming that's coming, and perhaps the ice age to follow, then and only then, perhaps we'll get paid back here in the state of Wisconsin for the Foxconn deal.
Maybe, at least we're near the fresh water, at least right now. But again, I mean, the dollars comparison are only one part of the deal, as you mentioned. The environmental impact, the screwing with our friends on the Great Lakes Compact, and the way that this Foxconn deal has continued to, let's say, evolve. It's just, Dominic, it's just a terrible deal. I don't know. I keep repeating myself as well, Creed, but I think people need to understand we have a huge liability here, and I think it is up to certainly the responsibility of the governor and the Speaker of the House, Speaker of the Assembly, and Robin and perhaps Senator Fitzgerald. What say you? Are we wrong? Please help us. If we're being paranoid about, absolutely. If we're being paranoid, if we're over the top. Please correct us. We're waiting.
Dominic, forevermore, time in the state of Wisconsin will be measured BFC and AFC. Before Foxconn
and after Foxconn.
Come with us. We are the Devil's Advocates. Nothing comes after this fine program. 844-967-2789. I meant nothing comes before us in your hearts.
Let's not provide free housing. Let's not provide food stamps. Let's not provide free education. Let's not provide a laundry list of things. Let's just give them a negative tax and let them decide what makes more sense for them.
That's a great idea. Okay, how do we do that?
It's really radical.
Hi, my name is Shantae, your local Hyatt pharmacist. With more than 10 locations here in the Milwaukee area, we're here to simplify your lives one script at a time. With free delivery to your home or work, where all your medications are brought together in one convenient dosage packaged, individualized to your daily medication regimen. We set up in-house calls with the licensed pharmacist to assist in medication management. We accept all insurance plans. To learn more about Hyatt, visit us at our website, HAYATRX.com.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
It's a lot easier to measure how many times students use a semicolon correctly in an essay.
Educated educators talking education.
Than it is to measure how many wonderful ideas are in that essay.
Busted Pencils.
There is no teacher shortage.
With Dr. Tim Slecker.
There is a teacher exit.
Featuring Matt Damon's mom.
You want to know what my mom would say?
We've had an intrusion into education.
Busted Pencils Radio. Saturdays at 11 on Resistance Radio.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling devil's advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Real Resistance Radio, streaming on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio. And the phone lines to talk or text toll free, 844-967-2789. You could be like our pal Lee. Hey, Lee, thanks for calling. Happy Hump Day. What do you got for us today?
Oh, it's really enjoyable to listen to all this governor bashing.
You're welcome.
Should set a time aside every broadcast for a couple of years here. And one thing that I wonder if Josh Call can do, prosecute the man for taking that $1 million payoff when he supported the mines, which did not happen in upper Wisconsin, I'm sure you recall.
Sure. Scott Walker, Gogebic Taconite gave Wisconsin Club for Growth, my understanding is about $1.2 million. Scott Walker gave back the quid pro quo, AB1, SB1, which became the mining bill. And now I've not seen any big, out-of-state interest actually go forward with mining. But it's not because Scott Walker didn't do his part. Right. They cashed the check, and of course the campaign contribution, this anonymous donation to a third party that then coordinated with the Friends of Scott Walker campaign, well, it was illegal while it was happening. Because taxpayers and everyone, quite frankly, should want the transparency of knowing if someone's buying legislation, if someone's buying Scott Walker's soul. That should be transparent. You shouldn't be able to funnel it anonymously right. through a third-party source. That's why even, the now-departed Scalia only signed off on Citizens United because the groups are supposed to be independent from candidates. There's not supposed to be cooperation. But, of course, here in the state of Wisconsin, uniquely, Scott Walker said, no, that's all good because I already did it. First Amendment.
And then changed the laws after the facts. Thanks for the call, Lee. Crudy, what was it the mining bill or was it the the lead paint manufacturers that we would not have known about had it not been for some quote-unquote erroneous legal publications?
Well, I believe the Guardian first reported the campaign contribution to Wisconsin Club for Growth from Gogebic Taconite. It's hard to know. None of this, if Scott Walker had his way, we wouldn't know
any of it.
That he took money, or groups supportive of Scott Walker took money from lead-based paint manufacturers, and that Scott Walker then used the state budget to shield them from liability from active lawsuits from victims of lead-based paint. And Scott Walker had no qualms. I mean, it was the decent thing to do to shield those manufacturers from liability for the harm that they had done to children. It was the right thing to do. And, of course, the givers of that grandiose, I believe, like $750,000, Dom, well, they could do so anonymously. So we, the taxpayers, we, the voters, would have a very difficult time connecting Scott Walker to the outside corporate interest that would pay him to sell out Wisconsin's children, those that are victims of lead-based paint exposure. Scott Walker, good Christian that he has, no qualms.
Side note, City of Milwaukee has over 3,000 children today, right now, with too much lead in their system. Certainly lead-based paint part of that, but the Republicans and Governor Scott Walker, we would never have known that they took that money had it not been for some court filing release that should not have been. That's my recollection, Crudy. I don't like politicians getting paid off, and all of a sudden you see some strange legislation or strange budget insertions, and people are, well, why did that happen? Well, there's really only one reason why those things happen, because someone got paid. 844-967-2789. You can get paid. Just give us a call. Let's go with Pete from Milwaukee.
Who's paying them? I gave all the free beers away on Election Day. I'm not paying for friends anymore.
Hey, Pete, welcome, man. What do you got?
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe Scotty's getting ready to go to jail, and that's why that's why he's got nothing else to do, I mean, he's thinking of all these things he's going to get prosecuted on. He knows, better
Pete,
than anybody else.
Maybe he's running around ducking a subpoena somewhere. Is that what it is?
That could be, or else he's just saying goodbye so that when he does go, you'll be in there and taking precautions or whatever. I don't know.
I hope they subpoena him with some pre-dawn military raids, man. That's how I hope he gets it.
Do you think Tonette will go visit, some conjugal visits, if you will?
Yeah, I think she will, but, I don't know how big the jail is, but, whatever.
Sneak a couple ham sandwiches in, a little contraband for the man.
Thanks for the call,
quick,
Pete.
Just want to remind people, Daniel Bice, Jason Stein, Patrick Marley, back in September of 2016, GOP eases lead-based paint laws after $750,000 in donations. It's getting to be a lot of money. Governor Scott Walker in the GOP-controlled legislature approved a measure aimed at retroactively shielding paint makers from liability after a billionaire owner of a lead producer contributed $750,000 to a political group that provided crucial support to Walker and Republicans in recall elections, according to a report released Wednesday, citing leaked documents gathered during a now-shuttered investigation into the governor's campaign. The Guardian, you remember the Guardian leak, Dom, an arm of the British newspaper, reported that Harold Simmons, owner of NL Industries, a producer of lead formerly used in paint, made 3 donations totaling $750,000 to Wisconsin Club for Growth between April of 2011, shortly after the Acton bomb dropped, in January of 2012, right when the recalls were gearing up, buddy. Simmons' donations were made before and after Republicans approved 2 laws helpful to the industry. One in January of 2011, the other in June of 2013. The 2013 measure was inserted in the budget bill in the middle of the night, despite warnings about its constitutionality, like it was unconstitutional. The documents confirm earlier reports that Walker solicited millions of dollars for Wisconsin Club for Growth, a group then run by R.J. Johnson, one of Walker's top campaign advisors. The Guardian story says Walker was warned in an email about potential red flags with Simmons, who died in 2013, including a magazine story that described him as Dallas's, like the city, most evil genius. Our Gubernator hanging out with evil geniuses. Simmons' contributions mirror a $700,000 donation. I thought it was $1.2 million, Dom, from the mining firm Gogebic Taconite to Wisconsin Club for Growth around the same time, a donation that was earlier disclosed in court records. After that contribution, the GOP-controlled legislature and Walker approved legislation aimed at streamlining regulations for an iron ore mine in northern Wisconsin, up in the Pinocchio Hills, Dom.
There you go.
Boom, corruption at its finest. I mean, Scott Walker, it makes it very easy. Kids, listening at home, this is corruption. You're not permitted to do this. This is why we have campaign finance disclosure. It is just these very circumstances why politicians shouldn't be able to solicit donations to anonymous third-party groups and then coordinate their campaign spending with those very same said groups. That's why, only here in the state of Wisconsin, only to keep Scott Walker's ass out of a legal sling, only in retroactive changing of the law, codifying the laws broken by the governor of the state of Wisconsin, that's the only reason we have that here. That and, the fact that the very same litigants before the court, the very same givers that Scott Walker received the money from?
Yeah.
Well, the conservative bloc on the Wisconsin Supreme Court also received grandiose donations to the tune of $8.2 million in support of the individual campaigns of David Prosser, Patience Rogensack, Michael Gableman, Annette Ziegler, and let's not even talk about the new ones, the new Walsh and what's his name, the other Walker appointee. I mean, it should be criminal. It was criminal when he was doing it. They changed to law to codify the criminal activity, and we're the only state in the nation where that's permissible. Because even the U.S. Supreme Court, in the ruling of Citizens United, even the conservatives on that court, said the only reason why anonymous campaign giving is permissible is because you can't coordinate with a party, with an individual candidate, like, for instance, Scott Walker, because it might lead to corrupt situations where a donor gives $750,000 and Scott Walker gives him back a mining bill or a shield from liability and lead-based paint manufacturing. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. I've been doing some math on the radio. Come back with us. Hour 2 is next. And, Dom, I got a perfect gift. I'm giving you a gun for Christmas.
Yeah! Pew, pew!
Most of all, I want to thank God. I want to thank God for his abundant grace. Win or lose, it has always been more than enough.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
You concerned about speaking up at work? Do you feel like you have no say in your day-to-day work routine? Join Teamsters Local 344. Call 414-258-4545. Get a seat at the table. Join your brothers and sisters in negotiating for better wages, hours, and working conditions, and be part of the most powerful union in North America. Teamsters Local 344 covers sales and service throughout Southeast Wisconsin and package and airlines statewide. Contact Teamsters Local 344 at 414-258-4545 or at local344.org.
The Devil's Advocates.
Tom Perez, chair of the Democratic National Committee. Scott Walker went on something of a Twitter storm, very Trumpian. What do you think this foretells for Scott Walker's future as the governor of the state of Wisconsin?
Wisconsinites have woken up. He talked about we need an optimistic message. How can you make people feel optimistic when you take away their health care? How can you make people optimistic when you take away the right to bargain? How can you make people feel optimistic when you're gerrymandering the heck out of districts?
Radio for the 99%.
You are listening to Real Resistance Radio, WRRD 1510 AM Waukesha and WTTN 1580 AM Columbus. Always streaming at realresistanceradio.com.
Finding the missing. White House win. I'm Mike Moss. You can only imagine how stressful it must be for those victims of the California wildfires who are searching for missing loved ones. Red Cross spokesman Dan Halliburton says the Safe and Well program is up and running to help.
The Safe and Well program really lets us get
to know which of the people that are being searched for and make sure that not only are we looking for them, at the same time we're protecting people's privacy, and we're very aware of that. So we want to be careful about how we move forward on that. We're doing that. So Safe and Well is a great system for that, safeandwell.org. Go to redcross.org. You can find it there as well.
President today praised firefighters for doing an incredible job. No changes in Senate leadership. Republicans sticking with Mitch McConnell, Democrats sticking with Chuck Schumer. But correspondent Linda Kenyon reports there has been a change in House leadership.
House Republicans have elected Representative Kevin McCarthy as their leader, only this time he will be the minority rather than majority leader. He was challenged by Representative Jim Jordan for the spot. Jordan is an outspoken member of the conservative House Freedom Caucus. While McCarthy did win the #1 Republican leadership spot in the new Congress by a wide margin, he'll still have to work with conservatives in the Freedom Caucus who have challenged the GOP's direction from time to time.
To be determined later this month whether Nancy Pelosi will be voted by Democrats to Speaker. The Justice Department says it was legal for the president to appoint Matt Whitaker, acting Attorney General. Here's correspondent Laura Jarrett.
They also say he's only serving as the temporary in the acting capacity as Attorney General, so he doesn't have to go through Senate confirmation. They go through a variety of different circumstances, past precedent, to support that.
Authorities say they're struggling to deal with the first sizable group of migrants, more than 300 who arrived in the border city of Tijuana aboard 9 buses. I'm Mike Moss.
I'm Andy Buck, field representative with Painters and Allied Trades of Wisconsin. It's an issue that brings constant challenges for building contractors. How to find qualified painters, glazers, and drywall finishers. IUPAT knows what you want. A professional job performed by skilled workers who care about safety, training, and finishing strong. Workers who are reliable and ready on demand. Let IUPAT provide the people power that you need. You'll feel confident the job is finished right. Connect at IUPATDC7.com and finish strong.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
The National Transportation Safety Board is hearing testimony from Southwest Airlines and industry experts about the fatal engine failure on a Southwest flight in April.
Jennifer Riordan died on Southwest Flight 1380 when a fan blade snapped off an engine and broke the window next to Riordan, pulling her partially out of the plane. The hearing in Washington focused on design and inspection of fan blades on the engine made by CFM International. The board asked about life limits for fan blades. Christopher Spinney with the FAA said they typically aren't put in place, but there are exceptions.
We have done it in the past on some occasions when the frequency of those failures became an unacceptable condition.
Following an investigation into the April engine failure, CFM recommended more advanced and frequent blade inspections, which are now mandatory. I'm Clayton Neville.
Here's a mistake you wouldn't mind making. An Iowa woman thought she'd won $100 in Powerball. Turns out she was wrong. She won $1 million. I'm Mike Moss.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Teens in foster care will love you, even if you don't know the lingo.
Dad bod, noun. The result of the occasional donut, always washed down with confidence.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council. Visit adoptuskids.org.
5/9, your local single-source IT solutions provider. Specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy 59s.com.
For Real Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly with your headlines. The Milwaukee Common Council approved a new $1.5 billion budget for next year with a focus on the city's lead crisis. A new report from the nonpartisan Wisconsin Policy Forum says declining numbers of deer hunters in the state is threatening funding for several conservation programs. A 27-year-old driver was shot and wounded last night in a road rage incident in Milwaukee's Brewers Hill neighborhood near the intersection of Hubbard and Vine. Milwaukee singer-songwriter Trapper Shep has recorded a new song about Wisconsin using unreleased lyrics written by Bob Dylan about 60 years ago. The Bucks have been off for a couple days, but they'll get back to work tonight when the Grizzlies visit the Fiserv Forum. Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-20s. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs around 40. And Friday, mostly sunny, highs again around 40. For Real Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, it's Hump Day Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. 1 week from tomorrow is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And 1 week from Friday, Dom, Black Friday. What are you getting me for Christmas?
Oh, it's a surprise, Mike. If I told you now, you know, I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Same thing as you got me the last 25 years.
Yeah, but
bump kiss.
But a bigger one.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Yeah.
Dominic, there is a company in Wisconsin seeking to, keep the employees happy. They give a little Christmas bonus each year, a little gift for their staff, if you will. And I find this gift slightly unusual. I usually try to give monetary bonuses, at least to the employees I like. Sorry to you two guys. Dom, a little story, WISN 12 ABC from Hortonville, Wisconsin.
Hey, man, I grew up around Hortonville.
That's why I paused. I knew you'd react. To Dateline Hortonville, Wisconsin, a Wisconsin glass-making firm wanting to avoid the impersonal touch of a cash bonus that might be used to pay bills opted to gift each and every employee with a gun of their choice.
You serious, Clark?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Have a gun. Well, to be more accurate and to keep in line with state law, the father and son team at Ben Shot LLC gave each employee a gift card with which to purchase their weapon.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Here's a quote, Dom. The way that the background check was done by the store, Ben Wolfgram explained to WISN 12 News, "We're a small, close-knit team at Ben Shot. I want to make sure all the employees are safe and happy. A handgun was the perfect gift." Now, I would point out, Dom, 16 full-time employees at this little firm in Hortonville, and they have found success on Amazon with a design and manufacture of shot and beer glasses with bullets embedded in the glass.
It's a major award.
How do you keep those things from popping off in the kiln, right?
It's pretty cool, man. I've seen some pictures from the article and like little shot glasses with a bullet in it. I mean, it's almost artistic.
Now, the media relations employee, Chelsea Priest, said she was grateful for the gift. Now, what would the media relations person say?
Totally inappropriate. Didn't want it. Would rather have a sausage.
Or we would be hearing from the new media relations person for Christmas. For him to stand for something and for the company to stand for keeping us safe is really awesome for them to do that, she said in a video interview. Hortonville, Dom, located near Appleton, about 120 miles northwest of Milwaukee, is a safe community in terms of violent crime, at least since that one guy left, with just one aggravated assault reported in 2016. So, Dom, here's the question. I mean, to each his own or her own.
Absolutely.
But as a small employer, and I've, got the two little endeavors here, Dom, and I'm already getting, the one down the hallway here. She comes speed walking down to my office. So what are we doing for Christmas this year?
Right.
And the question becomes, what are we doing for Christmas this year? And I'm always looking for, logical suggestions. But I'm not quite sure if I see giving a gun for Christmas is a very Christ-like thing to do. I mean, who would Jesus shoot, right? He didn't.
Jesus would shoot. Hey, I'm just saying, Jesus would probably shoot the money changers. I mean, if I remember the story properly.
It says in the Bible, if I recall correctly, I've only read certain parts, but something about turning the other cheek, not standing your ground. I'm just saying, the whole biblical thing. If this is indeed Jesus' birthday, are you celebrating the baby Christ birth, the Savior of mankind, by giving guns?
You only have two cheeks.
You only have two cheeks, Crudy.
I guess I'm asking the audience, not just you, Dom. 844-967-2789. What if your employer gave you a gun for Christmas?
Well, technically, it's a gift certificate for a gun, because you still got to do the background checks, right? So
yeah,
all right.
Apparently, you can't buy it out of a trunk in the parking lot.
But
what
you
about
can.
The guy who's got a?
But you
can.
What
about a guy who? Of course you can. Of course you can. You just can't use your gift card for such. You have to cash that one out on pennies on the dollar to another gun-loving coworker, and then you can go pay cash out of a trunk for your car, straw purchase style.
Number one, I don't look at the holidays, and I get it. It's a Christmas. It's a Christian holiday, but it's a happy holiday to me, Crudy. Lots of folks aren't Christian.
Yeah, but you're an atheist.
It's all about Santa Claus, man.
And you don't give gifts anyways, near as I can tell.
Well, my family and I, we made a deal a long time ago, because it was, I'll get you a gift and you get me a gift. And then it was, well, I didn't have time to get you a gift. Here's a card with some money, and here's another card with some money. So instead of just, swapping each other cards and money, we'll just keep our cards and money and we'll just go hang out together. So, I like it nice and simple that way. Certainly the kids get their Christmas and whatnot, but what a company decides to do with their employees is entirely up to them. Would you see it any differently, Crudy, if it was Remington giving out, discounts for their guns as an arms manufacturer?
Maybe the only saving grace in the story of a employer giving each of the employee a gun for Christmas is the fact that they incorporate bullets in their shot and beer glasses, right? So there's some affinity already being displayed.
Right.
They're artisans of weaponry, of
glass and weaponry. Right.
Where drinking meets shooting.
Because, it's not a good time if there's not some drinking and shooting involved. Yeehaw!
Well, Dominic, quite frankly, our Christmas parties have always involved a lot of over imbibing. Whether they're the official type or the non-official type, they've always, we're Wisconsinites. We do the drinking thing, right?
Well, yeah, but we are Wisconsinites, man. We are a gun-loving Wisconsin. Lots of hunters, man.
Slow down.
Whoa, come on. What are you talking about?
The number of hunters is way off. The CWP
okay, I understand that it's way off, but it is still, you cannot deny the heritage of hunting for sport in this state, full stop. And so certainly, and when I grew up there, Crudy, everybody went hunting, man. I mean, everybody. The schools were literally, and I didn't, everybody but me. My parents were city folks from Detroit, man. They didn't go hunting. They didn't go to the local Tavy. They didn't watch the Packers. So I grew up in a really kind of a just weird
spot. No one would have ever guessed you a city slicker, but please continue.
So, the schools were literally empty, although school was still on during hunting season, man. This is a heritage for many of the folks living around Wisconsin, Hortonville, man. I know it. I got friends up there. So it's not that big. It's really not that big a deal, I guess would be my point.
Don't give me the full stop, first of all, because here's what I would say about the exercise, at least of the gun deer hunt holiday, air quotes. Most of those guys barely make it out of the deer shed. if half of them walked out to their blinds, they'd probably have a heart attack in the woods, Dom. What most guys do in the state of Wisconsin is they go get drunk for a week away from their wives. They go out to the woods and they drink and they fart and they hang out and they play cards and, you know, maybe they go out and they shoot Bambi if they're lucky.
Come on, you think Joe Clayfish is out there? You don't think he's hunting? There's hunters, man. I mean, there are hunters that absolutely take it seriously. And I know some of the folks that would go hunting, Curdy, and there's all stripes, let me tell you. And some of these guys that I know would just party. I mean, just give her. And then, you know, walk into the blind. I mean, literally drunk blind. That's why they call it a blind. And I would not want to be in the woods with these guys. No way. No. But there are folks that take their hunting very super seriously, man. And to give a gun for a Christmas present when you're in the, let's call it the industry, they are using bullets as decorations on these shot glasses and in these beer glasses, is not too crazy, I don't think.
Now, they do have a term, and I'm not trying to cast aspersions on the postal carriers, but, you know, the old term, go and postal, right? Someone gets a gun and heads back to their employer, starts shooting the place up. Well, I know that would never be profane Ronnie. She always gets it out just by swearing a little extra.
Right.
But I'm not so sure it's a good idea to hand off to perhaps some disgruntled employees, because you never know. I like to disgruntle my people.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want you people packing around me, whether or not the baby Jesus is involved in this transaction or not. I'm more worried about this guy, and I don't want to get shot by you guys. I know how you guys are. Gary in there can barely keep the music running. I don't want him to be packing in the program booth. More Devil's Advocates, come back with us. If Gary gets us back from break, phone calls welcome, 844-967-2789. Should Daddy get you a gun for Christmas?
Mistress for Christmas.
Merry Christmas! Shitter was full! You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Do you love public education? Do you want to support your schools? Then you should support the people who make them work. You should support teachers and their unions. Teachers' working conditions are students' learning conditions, and when the school bell rings, it is crucial that teachers do not check their rights at the door. The ability to organize and advocate around issues that improve the quality of a teacher's workplace will increase opportunities for students and make schools safer for everyone. Stand with teachers, stand with WEAC Region 7.
On marijuana, unfortunately, it's a public health issue and a public safety issue. I've opposed that.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, how can medical marijuana help those addicted to opioids?
There's three big things. There's clear consensus now that cannabis can treat pain. That is not an opinion. That is a consensus conclusion by big scientific bodies like the National Academy of Science. We also know that it can help treat the withdrawal symptoms of opioids. People, they don't want to be on it anymore. They want to quit, but they develop the terrible withdrawal symptoms. And now we have evidence that it can actually help heal the part of the brain that is diseased in someone who's an opioid addict. If you had to start from scratch and design a substance to help lead us out of the opioid epidemic, like in a lab, it would probably look very much like cannabis.
Call Governor Scott Walker at 608-266-1212. Tell him good people do smoke marijuana. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
The Devil's Advocates.
James Santel, he's a former U.S. attorney. He's our guest live on Brady.
Once again, a pleasure to be with you, gentlemen, to talk about the latest news breaking as we speak.
The FBI raided Michael Cohen, Trump's personal attorney, but once they got there, then they went back and got a more thorough warrant and said, we'll take everything.
My first reaction is you need to teach criminal constitutional law. You've got it just right in terms of the process.
They are kind of a big deal.
This is a really big deal.
I'll be killing you this Christmas. 'Tis the season you must die. No, there's no way that you'll miss this. A Bushmaster's on my wish list. My right to bear arms you cannot deny.
Wow. Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Wow. I'm almost speechless. 844-967-2789. A firm from my almost hometown, Hortonville, giving out guns, gift certificates for guns for Christmas. Seems like the staff is pretty happy about it. Crudy thinks it's weird. I'm a meh. But let's hear what you have to say. 844-967-2789.
Dominic, maybe it's the fiduciary in me, but when I hand you that gun, am I not also handing you a big basket full of liability for yours truly? Am I responsible for your angry shooting in the facing of somebody one drunken holiday evening, Dom?
Depends on how rude you are to me, Crudy. Sometimes you might be.
But if I give you the gun for Christmas that, you know, you shoot Santa Claus with, am I not
as a
some liability? Am I not culpable on some level? I knew you weren't capable of the responsibility of a handgun. I gave it to you anyway.
That's a good question. I would say no, probably not like any other gift. They're not responsible. You give someone a set of steak knives and they go stab someone. It's not the responsibility of the person who gave them the steak knives. But let's get some other thoughts. Matt from Johnson's Creek. Welcome, Matt. What are your thoughts today?
Hey, I'm with you, Dom. I think this is one of those times where I have to admonish my sweet, lovable liberal progressives to just calm down. This is a small company, a small group of people, and we like to rail up and down. Let's go ahead and stay out of our bedrooms, stay out of our drugs. Well, this is the type of thing where it's so insular, maybe we just need to stay out of these, like you said, in the industry. This is a small group of people, maybe we stay out of their business, because this doesn't smack of like a sensible, when we react like, oh my gosh, a gun, everybody panic. That doesn't, we say we want sensible gun reform, but if we're going to panic every time we hear anything about a gun, period, that doesn't make it seem like we actually mean sensible gun control reform or anything like that.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. Compare it to the Christmas drawing at the bank. Whoever gets the thing, they get a rifle for Christmas, right? They in other industries, and people have been critical for banks or other industries doing this kind of thing. Do you make a distinction?
Mostly Republican fundraisers raffling off AR-15s, but please continue.
Do you make a distinction between that and this situation, Matt?
Only in that it's, like I said, how big is this company? 30, 13?
16, yeah, they're small. Yeah. Yep.
16. I guess I kind of have an issue with guns for all, it's like a free-for-all. It's like any idiot can walk in and put his name in and walk away with a gun. Yeah, that's a little disturbing. And maybe if this was like a daycare, decided to give all their employees guns for Christmas, I might have a bigger issue.
No, you're thinking of the former Attorney General.
Yeah, I trust, in case bears break in, But I trust the people that want to work for this company are not offended in any way, and so let's just let them have their Christmas and kind of back off. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Matt, I'm with you, my friend. 844-967-2789.
Come on, man. If I was one of the employees and I got a gun and I was offended, I don't know that I would come out and publicly start running down the company. Somebody might shoot me.
But you come on. Would you be offended, Crudy, in a work situation like that, and you were the recipient of a
I would find it quite odd.
Gift certificate for a gun?
Yeah, I'd find that odd.
You would find that odd.
And it's not that I'm uncomfortable with weapons. I was in the military. I, had my own M16, at least U.S. government issued. And I would ask you to draw the distinction, Dom. I asked the question about AR-15s. What if they were giving out assault rifles for Christmas? Is it still fun and games if they're giving out high-velocity assault rifles? Are these handguns?
As long as it's within the law right now, Crudy, yes, that's how it is. They're in the industry.
Stocks?
They're in the industry.
What if I gave you a bump stock for Christmas? Well, that's currently permissible under both state law.
Yes, absolutely. If I didn't want it, I'd sell it. 844-967-2789. Mark from the SAC, what do you think?
Hey, Mark.
Well, I think the company, it might be the culture in this company, that it might be a hunting and shooting culture in that company. So I mean that I'm not going to have a meltdown over it. As long as that, and the only people that are going to be able to buy, receive those weapons are ones that are that legally receive them, because it sounds like they're going to have to go through an actual dealer if they're being given a gift certificate here on that thing. Because I've heard of other companies doing this kind of thing. That in most cases it's like for a hunting rifle of some kind, and I'm one of the guys that will be sitting up in a tree at six o'clock in the morning or 6:30 in the morning, come Saturday morning, hoping for the big buck to come by me.
Now, Mark, do you stay up all night drinking before you get in that tree? I mean, those are the things I could get concerned about.
It's been decades since that I've gone out the night before to have anything to drink before deer season, because I want to get up early.
But you've done it before, haven't you, Mark? In your younger days, you used to get half, 3 sheets to the wind, and then the next morning you'd wake up all blurry-eyed, pre-dawn, you'd go nap in a tree blind, and you'd think to yourself, man, the only thing that would make me feel a little better right now is the little hair of the dog.
Never done that, though. I remember one night that at the bar, walking out into the woods, having it described to me with the stand I'm supposed to go to sit in, and I'm climbing up this big old white pine, and I get up there. When the sun comes up, I'm about 60 feet up in this tree, and this eagle's nest up in the tree, more or less up there. Never going to fall out, but boy, I was pretty high up there. So that.
Well, you should.
And I wasn't high at the time either.
Yeah. You should hunt like the former gubernator used to. Just put on the blaze orange, walk out behind the governor's mansion, take a couple of social media pics, and then go to the bar drinking, like most Wisconsin hunters do.
I never went deer hunting. It wasn't my thing. Growing up, my parents didn't have guns in the house, and as mentioned, didn't really acclimate to the country lifestyle after moving out of Metro Detroit out into the woods of Stevensville. But I always did enjoy when all the guys were gone and all the girls just go out and they'd be all single.
All the deer hunters' widows. You go do a little shooting, you and Joe. Hey, he won't be back to the weekend. Next weekend. Come back with us. We are the Devil's Advocates. We're having the conversation you're not really supposed to have at the Thanksgiving turkey table. It's a week till Thanksgiving, Dom, and the opening of deer hunting right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Is that this weekend? Does gun deer open this weekend, Dom?
I don't know. I don't deer hunt, but maybe.
You know what? No one's even offered me any deer jerky or long
would you take it? Would you take it with all the?
I used to eat the venison quite a bit, but now with the CWD and the former governor,
I don't know.
Not doing anything about it, So what if I get a little off kilter in my brain? And I got a gun for Christmas, and I just shoot at you randomly. Come back with us. We're Devil's Advocates.
This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
5 your local single-source IT solutions provider. Specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy 59s.com.
911, what is your emergency? My kid shot himself. All right, where's the wound, sir?
911, what's your emergency?
Please help. My son shot his brother. Okay. 911, please state your emergency.
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns.
It wasn't locked.
Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
When you shop Goodwill, you don't just bring home a vintage dress or cat lamp. You bring home so much good to your community because everything you buy funds local job training and more. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Real Resistance Radio, WRRD 1510 AM Waukesha and WTTN 1580 AM Columbus. Always streaming at realresistanceradio.com. Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison. Brad, why should people use Zero Res Madison?
Why wouldn't you clean your carpets like this? We've got a patented system. We also do another step that most people don't do. We have a double rotating brush machine that we use when we pre-treat the carpet. So this helps dig up any of that stuff that's deeper in your carpet that the vacuum doesn't get. We're going to provide that intermediary step before we clean with our empowered water.
Call Zero Res today, 608-848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Josh Call, the candidate for Wisconsin Attorney General.
Do you think voter ID had a suppressive effect, not on 100 voters, but on thousands of voters, and perhaps tipped the election to Donald Trump?
This is an issue that came up at our trial. And first of all, I should thank you guys, because we actually introduced into evidence the recording of you interviewing Dale Schultz, who was talking about the passage of the voter ID law. That was one of our pieces of evidence.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling devil's advocates.
For Real Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly with your headlines. Pabst Brewing Company is accusing Miller Coors of being greedy in their dispute over a contract to brew beer, now being fought in a Milwaukee County courtroom. Founder and radio ad voice of Kessler's Diamond Center, Richard Kessler, is no longer with the company, according to a statement from the board of directors. The Bucks have been off for a couple days, but they'll get back to work tonight when the Grizzlies visit the Fiserv Forum. The Brewers TV play-by-play announcer Brian Anderson is said to be the #1 candidate to replace Marv Albert for NBA games aired by the Turner Broadcasting Company, according to a story in the New York Post. And the Packers take on the Seahawks tomorrow night at 7. Tonight mostly clear, lows in the mid-20s. Tomorrow sunshine, highs around 40. And Friday mostly sunny, highs again around 40. You're listening to Real Resistance Radio.
The Devil's Advocates, tackling the issues you're not allowed to talk about at the dinner table.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You might not see it, but I'm dancing here. I love this song, man. This song
I know you
always
do.
Gets me shaking my ass. Who's laughing?
I'm laughing.
It's a beautiful sight to see my ass shaking.
That flat ass shaking around in those baggy jeans.
I would like to move on from this conversation. Better be glad I don't have my gun. Washington Post, Jennifer Rubin, talking about the President of the United States, a frightful portrait of a president out of control. Thankfully, he doesn't have a gun. During his 43-hour stay in Paris, President Donald Trump brooded over the Florida recount and skulked over other key races being called for Democrats in the midterm elections that he had claimed as a big victory. He erupted at his staff over media coverage of his decision to skip a ceremony honoring the military sacrifice of World War I. The president also was angry and resentful over French President Emmanuel Macron's public rebuke of rising nationalism, which Trump considered a personal attack. I don't think he's so far off base. I think that was something of a personal attack. And that was after his difficult meeting with Macron, where officials said little progress was made as Trump again brought up his frustrations over trade in Iran. Now to Rubin's writing. Trump hollered at British Prime Minister Theresa May in a phone call, berated aides, and insisted on personal changes likely to worsen morale in an already besieged White House. It is this ongoing funk that may explain his baseless attacks on the voting recount in Florida and his lashing out at CNN reporter Abby Phillips. I'm going to skip the parentheticals. In other words, as bad as Trump's public outburst may be, he is even less composed, rational, and stable behind closed doors. Once more, as we saw with Bob Woodward's book, the anonymous op-ed in the New York Times, Michael Wolff's book, Omarosa Manigault's Newman's Tell-All, and the countless news reports, the people who work most closely with Trump know best how emotionally, intellectually, and temperamentally unfit for his job, and yet they continue to mislead the public and remain silent after leaving as to the president's ability to carry out his duties.
Trump apologists, Crudy, as they habitually do, will deny and disbelieve reporting, but foreign leaders, outside friends, members of Congress, and others who observe him on a daily basis now spill their guts to the media, perhaps to distance themselves from the White House's downward spiral. There are several takeaways from all of this, Michael. First, Trump will get worse under pressure. If he's this bad now, imagine what he'll be like if more associates are indicted, the economy goes to seed, or the subpoenas start flying. At some point, unless Trump has him fired, special counsel Robert Mueller will issue his report. Unless it miraculously exonerates him, the president may have a meltdown that will make his trip to France look like a picnic. Second, self-described saviors of the country, such as the anonymous op-ed writer, are deluding themselves if they believe they are preventing the president from harming the country. Daily, he threatens democratic norms, blemishes the United States' reputation around the world, and makes worse and worse personnel decisions in an effort to surround himself with more compliant aides. If Trump fires Defense Secretary Jim Mattis and White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, it is not clear how many more erratic decisions will be made or how serious the ramifications may be. Third, all of this points to the gross irresponsibility of Republicans who for 2 years refused to exercise any oversight and continue to spin on his behalf. They would rather excuse the conduct of an unbalanced and hysterical commander-in-chief than move to limit his powers, ergo reassert that a first strike is an act of war requiring congressional authorization, claw back powers to enact tariffs, as an example. They likely will continue to rubber stamp his executive branch picks, no matter how unprepared and temperamentally unfit they may be. Even more reprehensible, they will heartily endorse him for re-election while maligning his challengers. Maybe, if they see control of the Senate slipping away, they will finally cut him loose. All of this reminds us that Democratic control of the House is only a halfway measure unless and until Trump is out of office, the country, our democracy, and our security remains at risk.
Well, way to lighten it up for the people a little bit, Dominic.
Jennifer Rubin from the Washington Post.
Again, the headline, A Frightful Portrait of a President Out of Control. Now, Dominic, we've not talked about Trump as much as we used to prior to the midterms. We found other topics for daily discourse. But it's a little troubling. It's not like suddenly he's healed, like he's gotten better. He's just hiding out. He and Scott Walker perhaps sharing the same tub of Haagen-Dazs, because I think they're both binge eating because they're both effectively midterm losers. And Donald Trump, it's got to be sinking in right now. We see all the Mueller headlines. Now, no new indictments yet. I'm waiting, Mueller. When's Mueller time? I can't wait for gratification. I need it now.
I want it now.
But there are various headlines circulating about in various news outlets that there are pending indictments, perhaps multiple indictments. Could be Roger Stone, could be Trump Jr., could be a number of people very, very close. Corsi, this conspiracy theorist that helped Trump in advancing the whole birtherism movement.
Oh, he's from InfoWars, right? Wasn't he their D.C. correspondent?
The finest of D.C. correspondents, my understanding, Dom. Anyways, you get the point. We forget Trump is still Trump, and Trump is worsening. And just because he's not publicly making a spectacle of himself doesn't mean that he's not doing so behind closed doors at the White House. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, there's a handful of cabinet secretaries that are on the outs. I mean, hell, for all we know, Mueller is on the outs. If Trump thinks he can get to Mueller from here, he's going to crush the Mueller investigation. He's going to take every step within his power. I mean, he's already installed this stooge, this crony Whitaker, perhaps unconstitutionally. He's, throwing Jim Acosta out on his ass? Taking away the press credentials of individual members of the media because they press him on the tough questions? I mean, really, it's getting worse.
It is.
We just haven't talked about it for a few days.
It is getting worse, and it was an embarrassment, him overseas, the way he acted, the things he didn't do. He comes back home, doesn't go to Arlington. I mean, he is certainly unfit, but he's got to resign. I mean, this is my point, and I put it out there. Resign now! Hashtag resign now. He must resign. He is a disaster. He's an embarrassment. And Jennifer Rubin, I don't even know if they're calling her conservative anymore. I didn't see it on the tagline in the Washington Post, but she has been continually pointing out these things as other media sources have. I mean, if you're a Republican, if you're an independent, and you voted for this guy, I mean, is this what you want? Are you getting what you want? Is this good leadership? I just don't think it is. And I think he's getting more and more unhinged. And absolutely, I think when the screws start getting tighter and tighter, he's going to take the damn the torpedoes attitude. I have no doubt if he it's within his ability to fire Mueller, get rid of his entire staff. I mean, if this guy is a Russian stooge, which I assert that he is doing exactly what they would want him to do. He is sowing discourse in this country. He is tearing apart the executive branch, and he's undermining the faith, what little bit I had, in the institutions, and that's exactly what an adversary would want. And if you are a Republican, if you support this guy, and Mueller's report comes out, you have a decision to make. You're gonna continue to support him, or are you gonna tell him to hit the road to resign right now?
I'm not clear that he will. I mean, I don't see him as a Sarah Palin half-termer. I think his pride, his ego, his id will not allow him to concede that he might be culpable, that he might be in some, serious legal jeopardy. What, in fact, would force this man to resign? What would overcome all of his tremendous ego and narcissism? I mean, he's the most powerful man in the world.
When everybody around him doesn't listen to him. When he gives orders and they're not followed.
That seems to turn him on. He likes it like that. That's when he's all jazzed up. I think I saw Omarosa Manigault Newman today at the Raw Story. You know, that's when Trump's at his happiest, when there's chaos, when there's strife all around him. He wants it like that. I'm not at all convinced that he will resign under any circumstances. Hell, I'm not even convinced that he's going to lose the election in 2020 and bow out gracefully. He's going to call, He's going to say it was rigged. He's going to say, no recounts. This is bad stuff, bad juju, fake news. He's going to start pulling elections officials. But what he's not going to do
won't make
is
it
walk
out of
away
his
gracefully.
First term, crew. Do you think he's going to run for re-election in 2020? He won't make it out of his first term.
I wish he would declare mission accomplished. I wish he would abdicate the throne, if you will, Don, but I'm not at all clear that he will leave even if and when he loses re-election.
844-967-2789. Let's get some callers in. Pizza Box Mike, you are next. Thanks for calling. What do you got for us today?
Well, Trump will resign when Putin says he's going to, let out the film of the mushroom and the golden shower film. But maybe not.
Maybe not.
I could be wrong. Hey, listen, it was funny going to the hearing today for the Kimberly Clark, public hearing, and listen. This is Steineke. He's the assembly leader, and Erpenbach asked him, "When did you guys pass this assembly bill anyway? This 963 to give all the stuff to Kimberly Clark?" And he's like, "Oh, last session." And he's like, "Well, yeah. Could you be more specific?" And he's like, "Well, what was it, April?" And I'm sitting there going, "You didn't even do March last year, fool. You're talking April." This is the guy that's leader of the assembly, and he doesn't even remember when they did the bill, which was
when
February.
Did they wrap it up
year,
like February?
Yeah.
Called it a year, the Republican-led assembly?
Yes, because Robin Voss was going on his 6-week honeymoon with the. No, let's not even go there today. It's so bad watching these guys let companies. Basically they're letting the companies invest in Wisconsin instead of investing into Wisconsin. They're taking everything out. Wisconsin shouldn't have to invest in a company to keep it here when they're making money already. And it's all about squeezing labor again and, giving money to people that are called investors or whatever, call them slave shareholders, whatever. But it's pretty bad. We're not done here in Wisconsin. And I'll tell you what, as long as Walker's still the governor, they're going to get as much stuff jammed in on us as they can in November and December to make up for, having the rest of the year off. I mean, come on.
Mike,
what a joke.
The Journal-Sentinel is reporting that they hold the hearing, but they are still short of the votes for the KC $70 million deal. Were you in the room today, Mike?
Yeah.
And was that your impression? They don't have the votes yet?
Well, that was the funny thing about it. I mean, they were asking Senator Roth, why are we doing this? Now that everything, it was such a politically heated time, and Erpenbach's like, well, what changed here, man? We got the same assembly, the same Senate. It's like old boss meet the new boss. I mean, come on. Erpenbach's pretty funny, and he asks some questions that they're so stupid they can't even answer them. They don't have the math on anything. This is all just like, it's got potential. No, it doesn't. Potential is, investing in the people that work here and live here, and that's potential. And I'm really tired of it. So I let them know that, it's been 8 years, and some of us know what this is all about, and I'm going to keep going back for everything that they do and just keep reminding them that everything they did. I just reminded them we just had an election that spoke to the last 8 years. And I said, some of you guys didn't, some of you got hurt by it. And I kind of looked at Buchner when I said it. And the rest of you probably never will, but it's time for them to get common sense, man, or we're going to run you right out of this state. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to stand for it. I'll go after these guys every single day.
Right on, Pizza Box. Mike, thank you so much for the call. Resist, my friend.
Dominic, I wanted to throw out, I referenced the Manigault Newman. Here's a quote. The one thing that I know that Trump, gets enthusiastic about is a good fight. And so you'll see the president start picking fights with everyone inside the White House, outside the White House, in his own party, in the opposition. He likes a good fight. Without the boogeyman, Donald Trump is nothing but someone who is just constantly down, and that's what we're seeing. During the rallies, when he was in the midterm campaign season, he was enthusiastic because he could turn to the caravan and the immigrants and all the different boogeymen he created without someone to kind of rail against. Donald Trump seems very, very disengaged, but you'll see him bounce back will be to attack the Democrats, to create new enemies, to fight people within his own staff, and firings get him very excited, which is why you'll hear all this talk about him getting rid of different staffers and cabinet members. That's the only thing that gets him excited, is the chaos and the controversy and the conflict. We are the Devil's Advocates. I get a little excited about some controversy myself. Come back with us. Join us on the phones. 844-967-2789.
We've got to protect our phony baloney job, gentlemen. We must do something about this immediately.
The American dream is dead.
You concerned about speaking up at work? Do you feel like you have no say in your day-to-day work routine? Join Teamsters Local 344. Call 414-258-4545. Get a seat at the table. Join your brothers and sisters in negotiating for better wages, hours, and working conditions, and be part of the most powerful union in North America. Teamsters Local 344 covers sales and service throughout Southeast Wisconsin and package and airlines statewide. Contact Teamsters Local 344 at 414-258-4545 or at local344.org.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
The Resistance broadcasts 7 days a week here on Real Resistance Radio. Tune in Saturdays for Citizen Action's Battleground Wisconsin as it rages from 10 to 11 a.m., followed by Busted Pencil's fully leaded education talk with Dr. Tim Slecker airing 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the voice of the voiceless, champion of the working class, Earl Ingram's Saturday show is live from 12 to 2 p.m. From 2 to 3, State Rep Jocasta Zamaripa hosts the Jocasta Show, and Maggie Dawn leads the Dawn of the Resistance 3 to 5. Mandatory listening, always streaming at realresistanceradio.com.
The Devil's Advocates, making radio great again.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Real Resistance Radio. You can join us anytime, toll free, 844-967-2789. Crudy, I just want to respond to your last quote from Omarosa. I have no doubt, a guy like Donald Trump thrives in chaos. That's why the Russians want him in the job, to sow chaos in this country. My point is this. When he's ignored, you ignore the bully. When he's ignored and the machinations of his mind no longer impact or affect other people's behavior, that's when he's no longer amused, when he's no longer has that drive to keep going to reign in this chaos, he'll walk away. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think he's a little pouty right now, Dom. Macron, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, basically chastised him before the world. When he was calling out the nationalist, he was calling out Donald Trump. Trump doesn't like to be punked. Trump takes that worst of all. Probably, and I don't know this for sure, but probably the only reason Donald Trump ran for president in 2016. And I would remind people, Donald Trump has been threatening to run for president in the last 4 elective cycles. This time, what was the impetus? What pushed him over the edge? Probably Barack Obama chastising him, making fun of his hair at a White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Yeah.
And Trump seethed, and Trump ran, and Trump won.
Crudy, this, if I may, Josh Dawsey, Philip Rucker had a piece in the Washington Post referring to this Macron thing. A couple of paragraphs, if I may. On Saturday, he got angry at Macron for his remarks at a ceremony honoring the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. The French president denounced rising nationalism around the world and called it a betrayal of patriotism, with 2 of the world's leading nationalists, Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, in attendance. Trump told advisors he considered Macron's comment a personal insult, and it came on the heels of a disagreement between the 2 leaders over Macron's call for a true European army. At their bilateral meeting on Saturday, Trump appeared subdued and almost sullen. Once he was back home in Washington, Trump unloaded on his French counterpart, likening Macron's call for a European army to Germany's military expansion in World War I and World War II. Trump tweeted Tuesday morning, "How does that work out for France? They were starting to learn German in Paris before the U.S. came along. Pay for NATO or not."
Is Corporal Bonespurs bragging about the glorious victories of the United States military in prior world wars, chastising the French for their lack of military expertise? I mean,
well, he only likes winners, right? I mean, he only likes the winners.
He just wants a big military parade. He's just really disappointed. Let's not forget, you know what Donald Trump was supposed to have gotten before he left? He was supposed to have gotten his D.C. parade, right? Missiles and tanks on the street, and
where is it? Where is it?
It didn't happen.
Right, he's getting ignored. More people will ignore him. That's the point. That's what happens. He's like, you ignore him, he goes away. It's like an evil spirit, man.
But what happens when Macron pokes the Cheeto? what happens then? He's not going away, not when there's still a world war to fight against France, perhaps.
Didn't he get the Balkans and the Baltics confused? I mean, this it is just, it's terrible. And Republicans, if any of them have any sense of history or any pride in their country, they know. It's just a matter of what's going to be, the trigger, the impetus. And of course, it's got to be Mueller. And I'm praying for Mueller. God, please let that drop soon. Let's see the
Lordy,
report.
let there be tapes.
Lordy.
Dom, perhaps it won't even take Mueller. I know what might set Donald Trump over the edge, and it might happen today. And I've got a story reporting about it. Brad Reed at the Raw Story. You know what's bad? When Trump loses Fox News.
Oh, no!
Fox News on Wednesday announced that it would be filing an amicus brief on behalf of CNN reporter Jim Acosta.
What?
Who recently had his White House press pass rescinded by the Trump administration. Here's a quote from the Fox News filing. Fox News supports CNN in its legal effort to regain its White House reporter's press credential. Secret Service passes for White House journalists should never be weaponized. The network then called out the antagonistic tone by both the president and the media during the recent press conferences, while reiterating that it supports a free press, access, and open exchanges for the American people. This is Fox News. The White House stripped Acosta of the press pass after a testy exchange with the president. White House press secretary Sarah Huckabee Colonel Sanders also drew criticism for promoting a doctored video. It's not doctored, it's just sped up. That made it look like Acosta had been physically aggressive with a White House intern. That sent off from the fine folks at the Fox News, Dom. And I got to tell you, if Donald Trump cannot get his foreign policy from the Foxy friends,
Right.
What's he going to ask Mattis? Talk to John Kelly?
Well, I mean, how can you possibly...
Never going to happen.
How can you possibly allow Jim Acosta back in there after he shivved that poor White House staffer to keep that mic? I mean, it's just terrible, right? I mean, this is... and
kind of like the shiv Fox News just gave to Trump, right?
And for the White House to put out a sped-up version of the event, literally propaganda. That is propaganda, folks. They used it. They deceived it. They denied it for a week. Then they deceived you about what it was. Of course, we all know all you do is do a side-by-side. You can see it was sped up. And finally, they admit, well, yeah, it was sped up, but that doesn't mean it's doctored. We have, different definitions, different realities, different facts. The White House and everybody else.
Donald Trump, he hasn't been grabbing women so much as being a gynecologist, playing doctor, Dom.
Yeah, is that it?
Come back with us. We are at the Devil's Advocates, the happy hour. It's commencing right now. Always happiest with your phone calls at 844-967-2789.
Smell. And the world will stand in awe.
It smells like a turd covered in burnt hair.
So thank you.
Hi, this is Demi, pharmacist at Hyatt, locally owned pharmacy in the community of Milwaukee. Simplifying lives, one prescription at a time is our goal. Do free delivery of your medications to your home and at work. All your meds are brought together in one convenient dosage package individualized to your medication needs. We set up a house call with a licensed pharmacist to assist with medication management. We accept all insurance plans. To learn more about Hyatt, visit our website, HAYATRX.com.
Knowing your breasts can save your life. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Komen and the Ad Council.
Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
You are listening to Real Resistance Radio, WRRD 1510 AM Waukesha and WTTN 1580 AM Columbus. Always streaming at Real Resistance Radio.
Incredible job. Travel alert. I'm Mike Moss. President Trump is crediting the firefighters battling Northern California's Camp Fire with doing an incredible job. FEMA Administrator Brock Long today visited Paradise, a town almost completely destroyed by the fire.
This is going to be a very long and frustrating event for the citizens in Paradise, but we have all got to work together to find a new normal.
The fires have caused at least 51 deaths. Food safety officials are stressing the importance of proper turkey handling and cooking amid a nationwide outbreak of drug-resistant salmonella, especially with Thanksgiving approaching. Meanwhile, AAA has a heads-up on holiday travel.
AAA projects 54.3 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more away from home this Thanksgiving, a 4.8 increase over last year, the highest Thanksgiving travel volume in more than a dozen years, and 2.5 million more people taking to the nation's roads, skies, rails, and waterways compared with last year. For the 48.5 million Americans planning a Thanksgiving road trip, predicted travel times in the nation's most congested cities could be as much as 4 times longer than a normal trip. AAA says the largest growth in holiday travel this year is by air at 5.4%. I'm Scott Carr.
President Trump is trying to get a House-passed criminal justice reform bill through the Senate. Minutes ago at the White House.
We're honored that 7 of the major police organizations, including the Fraternal Order of Police and the International Association of Police Chiefs, have fully endorsed this bill.
The bill would assist convicts in re-entering society. The Deep South is being hit with icy weather today. At least 2 people have died after a tour bus overturned on an icy road in northern Mississippi. On Wall Street, the Dow was down 205 points in trading today, S&P down 20, and the Nasdaq down 64. I'm Mike Moss.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. That means it could be you, your best man, your worst man. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org to know where you stand. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at zeroresmadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
A new study shows $6 trillion will have been spent on wars since 9/11. Correspondent John Stolnis with more.
According to an analysis from the Watson Institute for International and Public Affairs at Brown University, the U.S. is on track to have spent nearly $6 trillion on war since the attacks on September 11, 2011. The study estimates war-related spending through the 2019 fiscal year will come to $4.9 trillion. Add to that another $1 trillion for veterans care through the 2059 fiscal year. It brings the total to $5.9 trillion. And if the wars continue through 2023, the total costs will be more than $6.7 trillion. I'm John Stolnis.
Republican Jeff Denham conceded to challenge Josh Harder today, handing another congressional seat in California to the Democrats as the state continues counting ballots. Harder's victory gives Democrats a total of 31 net pickups in the House. I'm Mike Moss.
Five Nines, your local single-source IT solutions provider, specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy 59s.com.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
For Real Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly. Republican lawmakers in Madison are holding a hearing today in an effort to give $70 million to Kimberly-Clark, even though they don't have the votes to approve the deal. The incentive package is aimed at saving 500 jobs at a plant in the Fox Valley that makes Depends undergarments and other personal care products. Like most manufacturers in Wisconsin, Kimberly-Clark pays no state income tax. The $70 million of incentives will be spread out over 15 years if approved. The Milwaukee Common Council approved a new $1.5 billion budget for next year with a focus on the city's lead crisis. The Bucks have been off for a couple days, but they'll get back to work tonight when the Grizzlies visit the Fiserv Forum. Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-20s. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs around 40. And Friday, mostly sunny, highs again around 40. For Real Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, we are sliding into the 4 o'clock happy hour, and it's time to talk about the House of Representatives and the leadership, new leadership on the Republican side. Of course, Wisconsin's own Speaker Paul Ryan, he's out, and there is a new minority leader, and let's not forget Republicans have lost control of this body, the House of Representatives. Kevin McCarthy, you know, the Freedom Caucus guy, Dom. He is the new Republican minority leader, according to The Hill, and he won overwhelmingly as the House Republicans chose Rep. Kevin McCarthy as their new top leader, rejecting a challenge from conservative Rep. Jim Jordan.
Jordan's the Freedom Caucus guy. I think McCarthy's more of a mainstream, if there is such a thing, Republican.
Well, Jordan's certainly a Freedom Caucus guy, but Kevin McCarthy, other than joking on the House floor, right, about the fact that, didn't he and Paul Ryan joke about the fact that Trump was owned by Putin?
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm serious. Now, the stays in the family, right? Yeah, him and Dana Rohrabacher were owned by Putin, if I recall that little issue, which they denied, of course, but then it turned out to be accurate.
Hey, wanted to throw this one out there for consideration of our entire audience. What happened to Mike Stanley?
Right? Where's
the last message I got from Mike Stanley? Apparently, his job with the Republican Party of Wisconsin has been terminated. Dom, he, like the gubernator, looking for work apparently, but the avatar known as Mike Stanley, that was a very, very frequent commenter,
prolific,
on our page.
One might say.
The last thing that Mike Stanley sent me was a message saying that after the election, Trump and Dana Rohrabacher were going to look on loosening up marijuana on a federal level. That didn't work out so well. Kind of like your job with the Republican Party, Mike Stanley. But anyways, Jim Jordan, you're right. He was with the House Freedom Caucus, the group of conservative bomb throwers co-founded by Jordan that frequently clashed with GOP leadership. And it was a good day for McCarthy, who just more than 3 years ago shockingly abandoned a bid for speakership when Rep. John Boehner announced his retirement, paving the way for Paul Ryan to become speaker.
How would you rate Wisconsin's own Paul Ryan as Speaker? Objective, not being a partisan here. I mean, assume you're a Republican, however you want to phrase it, how do you think he was as a Speaker?
I guess that's how you perceive the investigation of the Russian collusion by Devin Nunes in the House Intelligence Committee. If you believe, like I do, that Nunes has really been an agent of Russia, an agent of Trump at minimum, that he has basically been trying to bedevil the investigations of the President of the United States, and that was permitted by Paul Ryan, well, I think he abdicated his job a long time ago, Dom. I think he's been a horrible Speaker of the House. Now, here's what I would say. The new Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi. What's old is new again. 8 years later, she's the new Speaker, right? Nancy Pelosi, as a tactician, as a Speaker of the House, she is talented. She moves legislation. She knows how to caucus her body. She knows how to get the votes. But I'm not at all sure, Dom, if she is the leader for a new generation of House members. Have you seen this new Democratic caucus? I mean, it is a very diverse group. When you see the new Republican House members
right, glowing
and
white,
the new Democratic House members, there's a clear difference in both gender and, let's just call it, skin tonality. The House has a little diversity. And, of course, the Republicans, they never vote for diversity, Dom. But anyways, Kevin McCarthy, he's on the Republican side. He's the new minority leader. But let's talk about Nancy Pelosi for a bit. I think we got some sound, right, buddy?
We got some sound, and we got a piece here. Let me get into this briefly, Crudy. Chris Mills Rodrigo from The Hill. Democratic voters were almost evenly split over whether Rep. Nancy Pelosi should be the next Speaker of the House, according to a CNN poll released on Wednesday. The survey conducted by SSRS found that among Democrats and Democrat-leaning independents, 44% of the poll participants said Pelosi was the best choice, 46% saying that they would prefer a different Democrat. The margin of error was 5%. Among all voters, 30% said Pelosi should be Speaker, and 59% said a different Democratic lawmaker would be a better choice. Democratic reps Seth Moulton and Philmon Vela are among those who have said they plan to oppose Pelosi when the House votes for the speakership on January 3rd. Those lawmakers say they expect to rally enough opposition to Pelosi to prevent her from regaining the gavel. Pelosi, however, remains confident that she'll be elected to the top post in the chamber. I'm just going to say that I will be Speaker, Pelosi said Wednesday morning. CNN poll also found 44% of respondents approved of Trump requesting Sessions to step down last week. 677 adults in that survey.
Apparently, I was a little premature in calling her the Speaker. Just the minority party, in this case the Republicans in the House, they've chosen their leadership. But Seth Moulton, we've had him, Moulton? We've had him on the show. Didn't keep me from mispronouncing.
Butchering his name. Well, that's what we do here. It's an endearment.
It's been a couple years since the congressman has been on the show. Dom, I think it's perhaps time for a little new blood. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, I've got no problem. As I mentioned, I think she's very capable of shepherding legislation through the House. I think she's a hell of a lot better than Boehner and Paul Ryan and Kevin McCarthy put together at that aspect of the job. But in terms of offering a leadership position to this changing, more diverse Democratic Party, I mean, I'm not saying, a woman would not make a suitable leader of the House of Representatives. I'm just saying she had her chance. It might be time for someone new.
Let's get to some sound before we get to the phones. 844-967-2789. Brian, we're going to jump ahead a little bit. Let's start with 84. Nancy Pelosi talking about the House speakership.
I feel very good about it.
She feels really good about it. Marcia Fudge, not for Pelosi. Let's hear her 85.
Marcia.
I believe we need change, and so I'm supporting change.
Supporting change. Let's do the next one.
I think that if, in fact, we were elected on change, then we should have change. There are a number of people who I think are capable. And so we're exploring, talking to those people.
And I think that's healthy and certainly should happen. Elijah Cummings also had a thought on this. Let's do 88.
We need somebody who has been battle-tested, and she has been.
That is true. I don't think you can deny that, and certainly whatever happens coming up this next couple of years, it's going to be a battle. A couple more from Elijah Cummings.
I support Nancy Pelosi 1,000,000%. A lot of us ran with the number one issue being health care and the Affordable Care Act. Ladies and gentlemen, there would be no Affordable Care Act if it were not for Nancy Pelosi.
A ringing endorsement from Elijah Cummings for Nancy Pelosi. 844-967-2789.
Dom, will Nancy Pelosi get your ringing endorsement? Do you think she should be the next
I'm not a member of the Dem Party. I don't think you can deny her leadership capabilities, and I think Elijah Cummings laid it out there regarding the Affordable Care Act. But I would like to hear who else might be up for the position. If it's an election about change, as Fudge was saying, perhaps you should embrace that. And this has nothing to do with Republicans bashing her and using her as a talking point. They're going to do it no matter what. That's not the point. The question is, who is most effective in that job? She's been in that job. She was effective. But should there be some new leadership? Should there be the handing off of the baton, as it were? How about you, Curtis? So I guess I'm ambivalent about it at this point. What about you?
Well, if I were in the House of Representatives and I had a vote, I'd encourage, or at least I'd like to vote for Adam Schiff. That's the guy I would like to see in the leadership position. Now, he's not, a 29-year-old from the Bronx, but he is a capable, smart attorney. He certainly will have a very important role to play in the new Congress. He will be a committee chair. I believe he will take over for your buddy, Danny Nunez.
Oh, God.
So Schiff will head up. He will be the committee chair of the House Intelligence Committee, I believe it is. But I wouldn't mind seeing him move fully into a position of leadership. But I would point out, Nancy Pelosi is being vilified somewhat. And, I'm just casting opinions here. I'd rather see someone else. I just think we're ready for new leadership.
Just because, right.
But if Nancy Pelosi's got to go, Chuck Schumer certainly has to go.
Right.
I mean, Nancy Pelosi helped to, shepherd a winning House majority back in the House of Representatives. She has shown herself capable prior, but Chuck Schumer, the man in charge of the Democratic outcomes in the Senate, what'd Schumer do for me lately?
844-967-2789. Want to get your opinions. We'll start with Chris from Sun Prairie. Hey, Chris, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got for us?
To Pelosi or not Pelosi? What say you, Chris?
Not Pelosi. Not Pelosi. No, I think that her time is done. And if she's really good at shepherding through legislation, then maybe she could mentor somebody in the younger generation in how she does that. But I think it's really important what legislation she shepherds through as well. And I just don't think that she's on the same page with most of the younger voters who really rocked this election. And we need to deal with climate change. We need to deal with health care. We need to deal with a lot of things that are not going to please the owners of the corporatists in our Congress. And we have them on both sides. Nancy Pelosi's been in public service for a really long time. She's a multimillionaire. It's amazing how these people can go into Congress and become multimillionaires. You have to really question that. They have good salaries, but they're not that good. So I love the idea of Adam Schiff, though. I think that he's really been pretty stellar since Trump's taken office. He really comes out and says what's happening. He tells the truth. And I think that he could be a really good force. I don't know who else is there, but I'm in the no Pelosi column.
You think that she's just too corporatist at this point?
I do. And I also think that, that whole middle of the way, that we've seen since the Clinton administration, the neoliberals, I think that time is over, and I think that we need to move much further to the left, and I think that just these elections showed us that. Look who got elected. It's very obvious. The younger generation is voting now, and it's time. She's been there a long time. It's time for some new people to come in with new ideas, and we need to change things. Another thing that I would like to see ended is the wars, the unending war. Mm-hmm. That has continued with Democrats and Republicans in office, and that needs to stop.
Chris, you got like 30 seconds left. Want to get your opinion on an aide to Clinton. Hillary Clinton said she may run again. What's your take?
No, definitely not. No, she should retire.
So you're a no then, huh, Chris?
I'm a definite no.
All right.
I was a no before. I'm a no now. Yeah.
All right, Chris, thanks for calling.
I want to put her down for a maybe.
Definite maybe. Thanks, Chris.
Maybe Pelosi, maybe Hillary Clinton, maybe more devil's advocates on the other side. 844-967-2789. That is one guarantee you can take to the bank.
She would not be my first choice, that I can tell you.
Who's going to do it? You, Lieutenant Weinberg?
If I were to guess, I have one name in mind.
This is like bowl of doggy do. Put a cherry on top and call it a chocolate sundae.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
We got Mark Pocan live via phone. Mark, does Paul Ryan hate poor people?
Oh, he hates poor people and middle-class people. I mean, I think when he was probably 5 years old playing with Play-Doh, trying to, adjust the taxes on Play-Doh. So, to be fair, I think he's doing what he always said he was going to do. It's just no one actually believed he was either that cruel, evil, or dumb to do it.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 a.m., Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
When they go low, we get high. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show, Real Resistance Radio, streaming on YouTube and on Facebook. You can get us on Twitter at Devil Radio. The party line always open for our fair audience, 844-967-2789.
The rumors of Nancy Pelosi's re-election as Speaker of the House, apparently either premature or exaggerated. Want to hear from you, our fair audience, 844-967-2789. Now, I realize we're lay people. We really don't have any say in who is the next Speaker of the House. We know the Republicans, Kevin McCarthy, will lead the minority party. In this case, that means the Republicans. But Nancy Pelosi apparently is the logical past and future queen of the House of Representatives. And Dom, I would question if she is the right face for this party between her and Steny Hoyer and Charles Schumer. I mean, the leadership is old, it's stale, and, perhaps some of us are longing for something a little more progressive, a little more leftist.
Yeah.
844-967-2789. You were going to say something.
Well, but I guess it depends on what you see this role as. I mean, if it's shepherding legislation, as our friend Chris said, I guess it depends on what kind of legislation are you talking about. But I just think, yes, you're right. These are they're elderly. They've been around a long time, and it's not to knock them for that. but at some point you pass the baton. At some point you want to, help bring those behind you up, and I don't know, is this a transition? Would she take it for a year and then step down? I don't know.
Hand off the baton.
Yeah, but that's why they're gonna have to go through the machinations of that. I would just say, you can't worry about what the Republicans are going to say and do. They're going to say and do what they say and do, no matter what. Be it Pelosi or somebody perhaps a little younger, perhaps a little more progressive. But again, what is that role, and what is it functionally, and what does it represent? I think there's lots of things to consider when looking at who's going to be the leader of the House.
Yeah, but for Republicans, Nancy Pelosi is the personification. Let's call her the San Francisco Cruella de Vil, as far as Republicans are concerned. And I don't give too much of a damn what Republicans think about our leadership, but they've been quite effective using her as a villainess, running against Nancy Pelosi, using her as a tool of fundraising.
Would you consider them effective in this last election? I don't know if I would. I don't know if that's an effective strategy. They got their asses kicked.
So it worked every other time, but less effectively this time, and that's to her credit?
I think, when it comes down to health, what was the biggest issue here? I mean, I think nationally it's the health care. It's the pre-existing condition. We had it here locally in Wisconsin. All the Republicans tripping over themselves, lying to the citizenry, saying, oh, we're going to protect your pre-existing conditions. Not true. I mean, that was the issue, and that was something she shepherded through. Now, perhaps it was a greater awareness of what it was, but she was partly responsible for that. And you believe Elijah Cummings, she had played a big role in that.
Yeah, no doubt she played a big role in the ACA and Obamacare. But she also had something of a deciding vote whether or not there was prosecution of the Wall Streeters that crashed the economy the last time through, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Nancy Pelosi that didn't want any investigations of the Bush administration, didn't want us digging in about the logic, the predicated lies that sent us to a war in Iraq? Apparently, we weren't supposed to investigate Wall Street, weren't supposed to prosecute the perpetrators of criminal fraud against the American people. I mean, banksters crashed the economy, and Nancy Pelosi did very little in reaction. And I've seen very recently, Dom, that Nancy Pelosi saying impeachment is off the table. Impeachment off the table. There's a lot of Democrats that got elected to the House to strongly consider the evidence and, if warranted, to go impeach Donald Trump's ass. Now, if you just got elected as a change agent, as someone who said, I'll impeach him if the evidence is there, if the Mueller evidence is true, I'll go impeach this guy, and the Speaker of the House is already saying impeachment's off the table. Doesn't that go in some way, shape, or form against the will of the American people, or at least the will of the electorate that put those new, diverse change agents, those new asses in the House seats that Nancy Pelosi would like to lead?
It absolutely does, and that's a great point. That's why I look forward to seeing how this all pans out. I'd love to see someone up there get a little more aggressive and not let bygones be bygones. We need to fight every minute of every day against the corruption that is in this country.
For those of you listening at 1510 a.m. and 1580 a.m. right here in the state of Wisconsin, go find us on the stream. Right now is a good time at Real Resistance Radio. For the rest of you, join us on the phones, 844-967-2789. There's lines free, and it's toll-free. It's all good. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates after this short break.
The Republicans are dilly-dallying, taking their good old time. Maybe they just don't believe in governance.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Good evening, everyone. Due to FCC regulations and that we are an AM daytime radio station, this now concludes our broadcast day. But you don't have to leave us. We do stream online 24/7 at realresistanceradio.com. That's realresistanceradio.com. Or check us out on the TuneIn app at WRRD. For those of you already streaming, we now continue regular programming, and please welcome your friends from the radio. Say hello, everyone. WRRD 1510 AM and WTTN 1580 AM, Real Resistance Radio. Good night, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Did you know that Scott Walker's no longer going to be the governor? There's no joke there. I'm just really, really happy.
Hi, my name is Shantae, your local Hyatt pharmacist. With more than 10 locations here in the Milwaukee area, we're here to simplify your lives one script at a time. With free delivery to your home or work, where all your medications are brought together in one convenient dosage packaged, individualized to your daily medication regimen. We set up in-house calls with the licensed pharmacist to assist in medication management. We accept all insurance plans. To learn more about Hyatt, visit us at our website, hayatrx.com.
Ever worry that the anonymous millionaires are setting the agenda for our community with little or no accountability? I do. That's why I joined Citizen Action Organizing Co-op. My fellow members and I want to build a powerful and lasting progressive movement. Together, we can help determine the agenda in our own communities. Then we work with professional organizers and a team of leading strategists to make that agenda happen. We're working on health care, economic justice, child poverty, electing progressive candidates, and more. And our Radio Active campaign supports this station and the Resistance Radio Network. So, won't you come help us build a movement?
Become a member of the Citizen Action Organizing Co-op. Go to citizenactionwy.org.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
For Real Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly. Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputy has been cleared in a fatal shooting at the lakefront last year. Deputy Michael Truex fired 8 shots into a vehicle driven by 19-year-old Terry Williams, killing him and wounding a passenger. Williams had fled from a traffic stop minutes earlier at Bradford Beach. His family has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the county, which is still pending. A new report from the nonpartisan Wisconsin Policy Forum says declining numbers of deer hunters in the state is threatening funding for several conservation programs. Pabst Brewing Company is accusing Miller Coors of being greedy in their dispute over a contract to brew beer, now being fought in a Milwaukee County courtroom. Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-20s. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs around 40. And Friday, mostly sunny, highs again around 40. You're listening to Real Resistance Radio.
The Devil's Advocates. Rock and roll political commentary in a top 40 world.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. We got callers lining up at 844-967-2789. We're going to get to them. Who's next? Is it Kurt from Madison?
It is. Let's get to it. Hey, Kurt, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got today?
Hi, guys. I think Chris did an excellent job at articulating, to answering your question. I'd just like to add one more thing on to
Kurt. I thought Chris was being a little coy.
I think that not only has Pelosi had her time in the position, but she is just perfect fodder for the Republicans. I say she should be smart about this, work in the background, get someone younger in there, and it's a double win situation. You got someone green that gets to learn into a situation where the country's a mess, and at the same time you have people with a lot of experience to aid and guide the individual of doing battle with these Republicans.
Kurt, do you think, though, that the Republicans are going to be any more merciful with whomever the Democratic Speaker of the House ends up being? Aren't they going to lambaste them regardless of who it is?
Well, yeah, they will, but the chances are they're going to have to work harder at finding if there is even any dirt on the individual, as opposed to Pelosi has a legacy where they can draw upon all sorts of stuff she did in the past and saying, see, it's going to be the same old, where if you get someone new in there that's not held the position before, it's hard to win on those arguments because that person has never occupied a seat like that before.
Now, Crudy had mentioned Adam Schiff. You got any suggestions or thoughts on who it may be?
Unfortunately, I'm drawing a blank on names. My sister asked me the same question, but I would be looking for another woman. Or, I don't know, Cory Booker would be good, but I think
he's in the Senate,
as well.
Although there is
right,
no
he's
requirement.
I'm sorry.
There is no requirement
That's
that
right.
the Speaker of the House actually come from the House. Could be anyone.
I mean,
I nominate Dominic.
I will serve if nominated.
All right, I second.
All right, Kurt. Hey, man, we do appreciate your call and, of course, listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. What do you think, folks? Nancy Pelosi, somebody else, Speaker of the House. Let's keep going on the phones at 844-967-2789. Scott from Whitewater. Hey, Scott, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got?
I'm going to take the unpopular stance that I think with Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, I think you want the experience of Nancy Pelosi. Not a big fan of hers. She's got a pretty good retort now that Obamacare is popular.
Yeah.
If they want to say her liberal agenda, she says, yeah, that a liberal agenda that has pre-existing conditions covered for this entire country. I think, especially with Donald Trump and the Mueller investigation and kind of us waning in unprecedented territory, I don't think we want the training wheels heading the steering the bike right now. I'm for Pelosi, and I'd like her to take kind of a page from Paul Ryan's book, and when they're all ramped up campaigning against Pelosi in 2020, she steps down, and they have nothing in their cannons. And there's a whole nother generation that Nancy Pelosi is kind of like, it's easy to play quarterback in the NFL now because you got all the rules to protect you. When Nancy Pelosi came back, it was a full contact, hit him in the head, hit him low. She came from a rough and tumble era, which a lot of women of an older generation really appreciate.
Scott, are you saying Nancy Pelosi's going to give him some of these under the pile?
Yes.
Yeah.
She is something of a street fighter. I mean, she is a tough woman. There is no doubt. Nancy Pelosi, she does not crack. I don't know if you make yourself unpopular. She's very likely to be the next Speaker of the House, Scott. But ultimately, isn't there somebody else? Someone? How about someone in their 50s or their 40s?
Come on.
A Gen Xer, at least. I don't need a millennial, but someone from this generation. Our generation, Dom.
What is it? Come on. What is it about being older or younger that makes them any more or less qualified? I mean, I think Scott makes a good point. Nancy's been battling with these other guys, and Trump's, the old boss, same as the new boss. But, McConnell's been in there a long time. He's not a young man. She knows where some of the bodies are buried on that side as well. But I don't know. But these are the folks you're going to have to deal with.
Mitch McConnell appeals to his base who are all geriatric, Dom. I mean, is it a geriatric, is it a gentrifying Democratic Party that we aspire to?
Come on.
We know that the Republicans demographically...
You keep mentioning age and geriatrics. I mean, you're making it about age, and I'm not clear it is about age. What is it about? What is it about the age that makes someone any more or less qualified for this position? If they were 55 or 65 instead of
because some people look at 65, let's say, as the retirement age.
Is that what you look at it as?
70-something-year-old Speaker of the House, and they think perhaps she is past her working prime. And I'm not saying, someone like RGB, very dynamic woman in her 80s, right? I mean, I'm praying for her good health and her longevity.
Yeah, a couple of broken ribs. I heard she tripped over the new drunk guy in the hallway, busted a couple of ribs. All right, so there you go. I mean, in the 90s, Trump's in his 70s. Bernie's in his 70s. You're going to vote for Bernie if he runs for president, man? I mean...
You know, I'm questioning if he hasn't actuarially sort of aged out. I mean, at some point, I appreciate the good health of all these fine statespeople like Bernie Sanders, like Nancy Pelosi. But at some point, the actuarial tables catch up with you. I have no doubt they're capable. Mentally, they've got all the toughness. But I'm in my late 40s, Dom. I don't feel as fresh and young as I did even a decade ago.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how I'm going to feel in my 60s.
But perspective also matters. You know, what I care about right now might not be, you know, what I'm concerned about when I'm in my 70s. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you look at life a little bit differently when you know the more days are behind you than ahead of you.
Sure. And if I'm a young Democratic voter and I'm looking for some leadership from the party and I start looking and thinking my great-grandma might be the next Speaker of the House, you know, to me that's less appealing than someone from a generation closer to my own. And yeah, maybe it is about age in some way, shape, or form, but it's also about fresh faces. You know, put a fresh paint on the deck every 7 to 10 years, right?
Right. Well, all right.
I mean, I don't paint it the same color every time I paint the house.
We want someone.
Every 10 years, you go a little different shade of beige.
We want someone perhaps a little bit younger, perhaps a little more progressive. Well, Rick tweets out, or actually texts out, and you can text us out at 844-967-2789. Rick says, what about Mark Pocan for Speaker of the House?
I had already thought about Mark Pocan. He is the co-chair of the Progressive Caucus.
Right.
And if I heard him, he was a little coy in his own regard, last appearance on this fine radio product. I'm not sure that Mark Pocan embraced the candidacy of Nancy Pelosi for Speaker of the House. Maybe he's got his own intentions.
Maybe he does. And thank you for the suggestion, Rick. I think it's a great idea. The guy, he's younger, he's progressive, he's a wonderful human being, and he's a fighter.
And he has the good sense to play the talk radio game. Bernie Sanders became glorious to many by being consistently on left-wing talk radio. Did brunches with Bernie on the Tom Hartman show for years and years, right? Built up a fan base, built up a constituency, if you will, in talk radio. And now Mark Pocan, very shrewdly, I think, now that Bernie has kind of moved on since he ran for president, he was no longer able to do the Tom Hartman thing. Well, guess who's stepped in the breach? My congressman, Mark Pocan, doing a national hit town hall forum every week, about an hour on the Tom Hartman show. He comes on this show about as often as we ask. I mean, Pocan he's raising his profile for some reason. And I don't know if he aspires to be Speaker of the House, but I sure bet he likes the chances of winning the Senate seat in the great state of Wisconsin in 2022.
Wait.
There will be no incumbent.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm making that prediction. I think Pocan wants the Senate seat.
And that would be Ron? Ron's going to retire?
Ron claims he's not running for re-election. I think there's a lot of people that will have interest in that Senate seat. I think I saw Steve Walters, perhaps, Chris Walker, maybe a columnist. You know, there's lots of people. If there is no incumbent senator, if that is a wide open race in 2022, I mean, Mark Pocan's got as good a chance as any elected official in the state of Wisconsin to rise above the rest. Certainly on the left. I mean, who better than Mark Pocan to represent the state of Wisconsin, who doesn't currently hold a position that we'd like to keep him in? And I love Mark Pocan, but I think Madison could find another progressive congressperson. I think the state of Wisconsin needs Mark Pocan. I think Mark Pocan should run for Senate. Mark Pocan 2022.
No.
This is like a piece of lettuce between two buns. Like, what are we even talking about?
So, Crudy, can you think of anybody else you would rather have as Speaker of the House than Mark Pocan, at least as of right now?
Mark Pocan, a very effective leader in the Wisconsin Assembly. No, I think he likes his job. I think he likes to be in the legislative branch. I don't know. I have no special insights. Mark hasn't whispered in my ear, hey, I can't wait to run for Senate. I just see that.
But what about Speaker? I'm sorry, Speaker.
Envisioning. I'm not sure that he, in terms of seniority and in terms of placement, I'm not sure that Mark Pocan has the profile to go be the Speaker. But I think he certainly has the credentials to be the next senator from the great state of Wisconsin.
Vice chair of the Progressive Caucus? You don't think that gives him,
co-chair.
Co-chair. It gives him exposure to the other Democrats and going on national radio shows once a week and coming around the Devil's Advocates. You don't think that would give him enough?
That's the most important thing
of
Mark
course,
Pocan does.
That doesn't give him enough exposure in your mind to make a solid run for Speaker of the House.
I'm just not sure if he is ready to be a divisive force. I mean, to go run against Nancy Pelosi, that takes big cojones. And I'm not saying Mark doesn't have them, but I'm not saying...
Maybe we should call him and ask him tomorrow.
Mark's not afraid to speak his mind, but Mark doesn't seem like the sort to go against the leadership of the party. Mark could have endorsed early Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, state of Wisconsin. If he was the sort of guy that went against the party, went against common wisdom, he would have endorsed Bernie Sanders. His constituency overwhelmingly supported Bernie Sanders. Mark did not make a primary endorsement in 2016. That's shrewd politics. That's smart politics on Mark's part. And I don't think Mark is so imprudent that he'd throw his hat in the race, because I don't think he is ready to oppose Nancy Pelosi. But I'd vote for him if I had a Mark Pocan, he's our guy. You're all our people when you call us at 844-967-2789. Hurry up. Show's almost over.
If that were football standards, NFL standards, he ran for about 2,000 yards in one game.
69 offense. He was giving them the business.
Rookies there, Donald Trump.
I'm Andy Buck, field representative with Painters and Allied Trades of Wisconsin. It's an issue that brings constant challenges for building contractors. How to find qualified painters, glazers, and drywall finishers. IUPAT knows what you want. A professional job performed by skilled workers who care about safety, training, and finishing strong. Workers who are reliable and ready on demand. Let IUPAT provide the people power that you need. You'll feel confident the job is finished right. Connect at IUPATDC7.com and finish strong.
Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years. Assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's 3 easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org. Or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local344.org.
Ignacio, what do you got for us today?
Hey, I quit paying attention for like maybe one day, and all hell breaks loose. That goes to show me I got to pay attention every single day to your radio program, or else who knows what'll happen.
If you don't listen to the Devil's Advocates 3 hours every day, Nacho, you're missing a lot.
You got that right. I just learned that today. I turned it on and I'm listening, and you really just rocked my world today. I was just totally blown away.
Save the $2 on tomorrow's paper. Listen to the Devil's Advocates today.
Totally blown away.
Women want them. Men want to be them. Tom and Cruz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Last segment of the day. Damn, time flies when you are having fun, but we're not done having fun. You can join us on the phones at 844-967-2789.
Dominic, I want to talk about this topic, protecting Mueller. We know that Jeff Sessions effectively got fired, a week ago, day after the election, about a week ago today. And there was a bill proposed. Jeff Flake pulled it, or made the attempt to pull it on the Senate floor a bill to protect special counsel Mueller. I've got the reporting thereof, Jordan Carney at thehill.com. Legislation protecting special counsel Robert Mueller from being fired was blocked on in the Senate on Wednesday. Blocked, you'll never guess by who. Senator Jeff Flake asked for consent to bring the legislation, which was stalled after being passed in the Judiciary Committee in April, to the Senate floor for a vote. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell blocked his request. Under the Senate rules, a senator can come to the Senate floor and ask for consent to get a vote or pass a bill. Any one senator can block their request. McConnell didn't explain his move from the floor, but it came hours after he told reporters that he believed that Mueller should be able to finish his investigation and that he didn't believe the special counsel was in danger of being fired. There's been no indication that the Mueller investigation will not be allowed to finish, and it should be allowed to finish. We know how the president feels about the Mueller investigation, but he's never said he wants to shut it down, McConnell told reporters during a press conference. Jeff Flake, speaking after McConnell's objection, knocked President Trump's rhetoric on the Mueller probe, which is investigating Russian election interference and potential collusion between the Trump campaign in Moscow. Now here's a quote from Flake. With the firing of the Attorney General, the president now has this investigation in his sights, and we all know it. He added that Trump had accused Mueller of a witch hunt without basis or fact. And one last quote, Dom. How such an investigation can be the cause of controversy is beyond me, and presidents do not get to determine what gets investigated and what and who does not. Dom, the Senate Judiciary Committee passed the legislation that would protect Mueller or any other special counsel in the event he is fired, but the bill is stalled amid opposition from Republican leadership.
Crudy, we do have some sound of McConnell. Let's compare and see how good Crudy was at doing the McConnell. Cut 92.
We know how the president feels about the Mueller investigation, but he's never said he wants to shut it down. I've never heard anybody down there say they want to shut it down. I think it's in no danger, and so I don't think any legislation is necessary.
Oh, okay. But how about some, safety net legislation, perhaps? Let's go cut 93.
There's been no indication, as you can imagine, I talk to the president fairly often, no indication that the Mueller investigation will not be allowed to finish, and it should be allowed to finish.
So there you go. To add on, Crudy, regarding Flake, the Washington Post reporting right now. Flake refuses to vote for Trump judicial nominees until the Senate acts on a bill to protect Mueller. Flake's warning will likely force Republicans to rely on Vice President Pence to confirm any of the 32 judicial nominees pending before the full Senate, as panel Democrats are unlikely to vote for those who Flake has committed to oppose. It also means that Republicans will likely have to go around the Senate Judiciary Committee, where the GOP has only a one-seat majority, to advance any of the 21 nominees waiting for the panel's endorsement. That will also require Pence's tie-breaking vote. Flake issued his threat after Majority Leader McConnell and Senator Chris Coons blocked Flake from holding a vote on the bill, which would give any fired special counsel the ability to swiftly challenge their termination before a panel of 3 federal judges. Most Republicans have argued that the bill is unnecessary because Trump would never, I'd say, Crudy, never dare fire Mueller, whose ongoing probe of Russian interference in the 2016 election has sought to learn whether anyone in Trump's campaign conspired with those efforts. I'll save you some time. Yes! Continuing from the Washington Post. Flake challenged that rationale given Trump's recent decision to appoint Matthew Whitaker as acting attorney general and give him oversight of the Mueller probe. Whitaker has made past statements that are critical of the investigation. Flake said he believes Whitaker should recuse himself from the Russian probe, letting Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein reassume authority over it. The president now has this investigation in his sights, and we all know it. He said, "You use what leverage you have," he added later, explaining why he made his decision to block judges to force a vote on the legislation. This is the priority now.
Dominic, in August of 2018, CNBC reported, and I'll read the headline and then a quote from Donald Trump's tweet stream. Trump unloads on special counsel Robert Mueller, the FBI, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, the Justice Department in a furious morning tweet storm. Again, mid-August. This is what, mid-November?
Right.
So this is like semi-ancient history. But let me see if I can find.
Why are you always living in the past, man? That was like August. I mean,
Now, what did Mitch McConnell say today, Fancy Brian? If you could repeat it quickly, what did Mitch McConnell say about Trump's intention to shut down the Mueller probe?
92.
We know how the president feels about the Mueller investigation, but he's never said he wants to shut it down. I've never heard anybody down there say they want to shut it down. I think it's in no danger, and so I don't think any legislation is necessary.
This Russia thing.
Except on August 14th of 2018, Donald Trump tweeted, the whole thing should be shut down.
Well, yeah, but see, he never said that. He tweeted that. Big difference.
Trump tweeted, quoting Tom Benton, the president of conservative legal action group Judicial Watch. Trump literally tweeted, shut it all down. Shut down his investigation, the investigation of Donald Trump. That's literally been said, at least via Twitter, and Donald Trump has asserted, at least through Sarah Huckabee Sanders and, maybe Spicy Spicer and the Mooch, that the Twitter stream of the President of the United States effectively is what? Policy. It is his words to the American people.
It is official White House presidential communication to the people, yes. And whether or not he verbally said it or wrote it in a tweet, it still matters. He did say
90 days ago, a business quarter. 3 months ago, Donald Trump literally said, shut it down, shut down the investigation. And Mitch McConnell goes to the Senate floor today and says, well, Trump never said that. So let's not protect this special counsel, because I'm sure Donald Trump's, come to Jesus in the last 90 days? Warmed up to the idea of being investigated for possible collusion with the Russians? I mean, I hear him tweeting it all the time. Credible investigation. Or is it something like witch hunt? Shut it down.
Shut it down. Let's hear that 92 one more time, if you would, please. Given this information that Crudy has dug up on the presidential Twitter feed.
It took like one Google. I knew it was out there. I knew Trump had said, shut it down. In fact, he did tweet out, shut it down.
We know how the president feels about the Mueller investigation, but he's never said he wants to shut it down. I've never heard anybody down there say they want to shut it down. I think it's in no danger, and so I don't think any legislation is necessary.
So Senator Jeff Flake, of course, retiring, is going to hold up any judicial nominees until they get a vote. Perhaps, Crudy, this age thing, we've been talking about. I mean, McConnell turned 77 in February. Maybe he just forgot.
Little early onset dementia. I suspect that's what Trump's got going on. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Don't mean to be ageist here. I just would like to see, a new generation of politician, a new generation of Democratic leadership. And please, God, I'd like to see a new president of this country. Although I don't agree with you, buddy. I don't think he's going to resign. I think he's going to have to be taken from the Oval Office, kicking and screaming in January of 2021 after he gets crushed in the polls, declares it all voter fraud, says there's billions of illegals. They all came up in caravans and they all voted for Democrats. And then, of course, went back south beyond the border. I don't think Donald Trump's going to give up that job easy, Don.
I don't think Donald Trump finishes his first term.
Do you think he'll give all his employees at the White House a gun for Christmas? Have a great night. Thank you for listening, everyone. We are the Devil's Advocates. We'll do it again for you on Thursday.
But there's nothing I can think of that I'd rather do than have Russia friendly.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
So I got that going for me.
Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison, resisting dirty carpets and harsh chemicals. Brad, why should people use Zero Res Madison?
Why wouldn't you clean your carpets like this? We're not using any soaps. We're not using any chemicals. We cost about the same as the other guys. You look at it and you go, where's the downside? You got a completely green clean. It's awesome. We guarantee it. There's no downside.
There's no downside. Use Zero Res. Call Zero Res today. 608-848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.